Tonight on the Black Channel, you're getting a reminder of a lesson of American history and American society, that you are excluded and exempted from the Constitution. The Constitution says that you have a right to a fair trial. You have a right to a trial of your peers. That's what it says. That's what it's always said. But of course, that applies to everyone except us. Everyone except the foundation. And this is yet another example of it. Karmelo Anthony his trial has been, of course, the Ku Klux Klan kangaroo court that, of course, you would expect. It is everything that we predicted down the line. You have an entire society that collaborated and got together on code to target him from the very beginning. They didn't ask any questions whatsoever. So-called liberals, so-called conservatives, all of them lockstep and in line. Let's first go ahead and review, of course, the hypocrisy of the democracy. You are supposed to have a jury of your peers. He was convicted by an all-white jury. This is not To Kill a Mockingbird in 1910 or 1913. This is 2026 today, a century later, and yet absolutely nothing has changed. As I've always told you all, that in America, if you are black, you can be arrested, you can be tried, you can be convicted, and never encounter another black person at any step along the line. Even as so-called white population numbers dwindle, they will make sure that in these systems, they own everything like a mafia and have it sewn up from the bottom to the top. So all these pictures and memes and all this other nonsense that you see of so-called, oh, take a look at all the sister girls who've been elected as judges, and then you keep having cases like this. So this is a reminder to you to ignore the morons putting up memes and the idiots in the media trying to distract you with things. This is a reminder to you of where you really are and what the situation really is. You have been told that you're supposed to have a fair trial. Well, as some of you have noted here, and I pointed this out last week, that jury selection began last Wednesday and opening arguments last Thursday. So what they were showing you here was that the trial is going to be over in a few days. And that's exactly where you're going to be. So just understand that that's what it is. Just that quickly. I mean, before your head can turn, but of course, all the pieces were in place. All the pieces were in place. I was speaking about this last week, that all the pieces were in place here, and that's what it was going to be. When you sat up here and you saw what was happening, I told you that the judge put a gag order in place. That gag order, I don't think is any valid anymore here, since now you've had your kangaroo court trial. Now that you've done that, I was telling you all there, the judge didn't want anyone to be talking about anything. He didn't want anyone to speak. So that was the first thing I was warning you all about. Next thing I told you all about was that the judge didn't want there to be any cameras. No cameras in the courtroom. I spoke about all this last Saturday. I spoke about this all last Saturday. The judge wanted to gag everybody. You need to be quiet. But of course, all of Austin Metcalf's people were talking. They were talking and continued to talk. So that was the issue. And then the judge says we need to have a gag order. And then after the gag order here, we need to get rid of all the black jurors, which you pointed out last week. We're going to get rid of all the black jurors. So if you want to know why it is that this trial blazed through so quickly, turn off all the cameras, get rid of all the black folk, and let's get this lynching going. That was the point I was making to you here just last week. Turn off the cameras. There'll be no cameras, no witnesses, no Negroes in here. Bring the rope. Oh, trust us, everything went just fine. Everything was perfectly fine. Take our word for it. That's why we turned off the cameras. Turn off the cameras because, of course, that's what you do when there are no issues. That's what you do if there are no issues. Yeah, everything is perfectly fine. And that's why you're going to say, we don't want any witnesses, no cameras, no Negroes on the jury. Now, could you all imagine if Daniel Penny had an all-black jury? Could you imagine Kyle Rittenhouse, all-black jury? George Zimmerman, that the judge, there were three white people, and the judge said, yeah, we're removing all three of the white people. We're removing them. If there's three white people, we're going to remove them. And it's going to be an all-black jury. Yeah, there were some white people we were considering. We removed all of them. So, yeah, Mr. Zimmerman, you're going to be tried by an all-black jury. Yeah, there were some whites. We got rid of them. Why, Tucker Carlson would be standing in the middle of the street hallucinating. Megyn Kelly would put down the meth long enough to stumble her alcoholic self into a studio somewhere. That's what would happen. So I want you to be aware of what you're looking at here. I want you to be aware of what's going on. Now, I want to get into a few things here. Before I do that, by the way, to everybody listening, if you're having audio issues, that's on your end. It's not mine. Do not post in the chat room about that. If you do, you could possibly be removed for trying to disrupt the program. So refresh your browser, buy a new computer, something. But there are no issues with the program. Everything is going fine. We've confirmed that. So going forward, if you have issues, keep them to yourself. You got a personal electronic technical issue, get your stuff fixed, because we have a lot I want to cover here. And if you start disrupting, I'm just going to tell my mods to remove you. So you can just, for the rest of the time, you don't have to worry about it anymore. And that's the reason we want to do this, is because it's important for us to not have any interruptions when we're talking about the truth about this. Folks, when you have ethnic cleansing, when they do this in the open like this, which is what I warned it was going to be. I warned it was going to be this, but more importantly than who you're hearing is who you're not hearing. And I'm going to go into this in a whole lot more detail this weekend. I'm not going to do it tonight. I'm going to do it in more detail this weekend, though, when we get to doing that, because I want you to understand that who you're not hearing. Folks, do you understand your Congressional Black Caucus is quiet tonight? Do you all understand that your so-called black politicians are quiet tonight? Go to Barack Obama's Twitter, Michelle Obama's Twitter, Al Sharpton's Twitter. They in Texas. How about Jasmine Thought Pocket Crockett? Why don't you go on her page and see if she said anything about Karmelo Anthony? You can go down the list. Your so-called black politicians are quiet. They've been quiet. They ain't said nothing. Alexandria Ocasio-Scammez, once again, quiet. These are folks who stand up for criminals. Illegal aliens who are not supposed to be standing on the soil. Illegal aliens who've committed crimes. Why, they're very loud and very vocal. Why, she should be a streetwalker. She should be a prostitute. Why are you arresting the good prostitutes over here? And yet, in this situation, have you noticed everybody been quiet, including your so-called activists? Now, isn't this amazing? The new black media has been on it since day one. And yet these other folk out there, you all can go check them out if you want to. I've already done it. Spoiler alert, they ain't said a word. Not a single word. Now, I don't care if you think that Karmelo Anthony was innocent or whether or not you think he was drop dead guilty, when you see the judge racially cleanse the jury pool right in front of you, all eyes are supposed to go up at that moment. All eyes and all ears are supposed to go up at that moment, because that right there is unacceptable. I was not able to say anything beforehand. I have to be measured in some of the things that I do say because of my position. Eventually, soon, I'll be able to speak without reservation or encumberment. But what I will say is that when you take a look at trials like Young Thug had an attorney, Brian Steele. Brian Steele saw the judge do something that the judge shouldn't do, and Brian Steele shut the whole damn thing down. Brian Steele ended up being in a jail cell next to Young Thug. He shut the whole damn thing down when he saw the judge do something he was not supposed to do. That's what happens when you have real representation. I'm going to say it like that. When you have real representation, when you see the judge violate the law in front of everybody, when you see the judge do something so egregious in front of everybody, see, that's what you're supposed to see right there. And you shouldn't have to be Young Thug or Diddy or Michael Jackson or somebody like that to get that kind of representation. You should not have to be that. You should not have to be that. And I just wanted to take a moment here to remind you all and let you know here that, by the way, I saw that. I was alluding to this Saturday. I didn't say anything then because there hadn't been a verdict just yet. But now that the verdict has occurred, I feel like at the very least I should say that much, that by the way, if you want to know what my standards for those things are, I take a look at stuff like that, because you see, Johnny Cochran, I don't think Johnny Cochran would have allowed such a thing to occur. If you want me to start naming names. Johnny Cochran, F. Lee Bailey, Mark Garagos, Tom Mazzaro. I don't think they would have allowed such a thing to occur if they had witnessed that. So I just want to take a moment to remind you all that, in very, very recent history, you've seen judges try little slick, illegal things, and then you saw lawyers representing folks shut that down to the point that they removed the judge and replaced him with somebody else. So I feel it's incumbent on me to point out that, by the way, I did notice a difference in the manner in which these things were handled. So I did notice a difference with that. Jason, are you surprised? I talked about all this before here. People, you're in a system of white supremacy. The only thing that would have surprised me is if this did not occur. When you saw the system rally, that was what you needed to know right there. When you saw the system rally. When you saw the system rally, that's what occurred. Okay, to some of the folks in there on the slow bus, Ben Crump's not a criminal defense attorney. He's a civil attorney. Please investigate he's handling civil cases, so please investigate the difference between the two, okay? Please investigate the difference between the two. All right. Understand something here. When you see all the metrics line up, that's what you're supposed to be looking for. You're in Frisco, Texas, a place that has made it their point and their job to ethnically cleanse. You have a judge who already has a track record of at best suspect behavior and at worst racist behavior. He has been accused of this repeatedly. You have a prosecutor who is no different. He has a record of doing suspicious things. You have a media there in Texas that immediately circled the wagons. And that was something to keep in mind when you started seeing that. When they sat up here and did that, when you started seeing them get together, I started noticing in particular the media. I started noticing that in particular the media mobilized. I noticed in particular the media had mobilized. And I saw them characterizing it and saying certain things. I saw them painting the picture very clearly. Well, as far as they were concerned, we've already decided what needs to be done here. And they gave the narrative. It clearly said that Karmelo just ran up and stabbed him and then ran off. That was basically what they were saying. He ran up, stabbed him, and then ran off. It's like, okay, well, that's not right. So they let you know that they had a vested interest in these things. They had a vested interest in it. Not just at the local level or the state level either, but at the national level. See, there's things like this, when they want to penalize these folks, when they want to penalize us, you see things go a different way. You see things go a different way. They are still running around chasing Michael Jackson, Michael Jackson's ghost. They're still running around trying to chase Michael Jackson's ghost. They are still running around trying to create a characterization of Michael Jackson. He's been dead for years, and they're still doing it. These are the resources that go to work there, folks. Understand something. If they don't like you, we saw this during Trayvon Martin. If the corporate media wants to investigate you, they'll turn your damn life upside down. They will get illegal stuff. I mean, remember, they had juvenile records on Trayvon Martin. It doesn't matter if you're a minor. Now, notice in this case, we were told we couldn't get records because, you're dealing with a minor. And yet, before now, getting these records wasn't a problem. It wasn't a problem before. Now all of a sudden, you can't have minors' records. Well, what about Tamir Rice? What about Trayvon Martin? The New York Times filed lawsuits for these things. Why? They want to make sure that they get this information. And yet you didn't see anybody doing that here. It's been a year. It's been over a year. Where are they at, folks? Where are the lawyers for these news stations, these television stations, these newspapers? Where are they to file their lawsuits and their amicus briefs and to demand public information records? Where they been? Where are they at now? They're dead quiet. Yes, because they were and are on the side the white supremacists. Their job is to do a little something. We looked at the case and... Okay, but you've done no investigation whatsoever. Folks, y'all saw them do hella looking into Diddy. Nobody is dead because of Diddy, and yet they were everywhere. Cameras were rolling. We're talking to all the witnesses, anybody and everybody who been to the freak off. Well, that was what they did there, and yet here, all of a sudden, these huge corporations whose job, their mandate in the Constitution is to investigate these things, and dead quiet. Not a word, not a sentence, not a lawsuit, not a filing, not a motion, not a anything. And yet they all showed back up once the trial started. So they didn't lift a finger since the events happened, and then they went dead quiet, and then all of a sudden they all sprang back to life again when the trial started. Now, is that a coincidence or is that white supremacy? Somebody gonna tell us that that's just a coincidence because this is the same coincidence we keep seeing over and over again? I want to say something else here as a reminder. That when you are dealing with a devious society like the one that we are in here, this is a reminder. And it is unfortunate that we have to have things like this. And I said this a couple of days ago, but I said it. This is a reminder. It's a reminder to us of where we actually are. And one of the things we actually are, we are a people without any type of legal foundation, representation, or support. I have been speaking about that now going on 2 decades. We don't have it. I see rappers and ball players, and if you're mobbed up with a white corporation, they get you in touch with a real attorney, and then next thing you know, the only way you get convicted is if they got you on video confessing. But other than that, they're going to be able to make sure they take care of that for you. Whether it's Rockefeller and Rock Nation and Alex Sparrow, no denigration. Young Thug and Brian Steele, no denigration. Diddy and Brian Steele. We can go down the list. Although Brian Steele was just one of the attorneys because Diddy had another law firm for that. And what I'm saying is, yeah, but do you notice what's going on there? I would like to remind you all about something here. I want to remind you of the fact that there are groups of people who took the threat seriously. They took the threat seriously. They lived in a nation that let it be known to them that if we have our druthers, we're not going to just throw racial slurs at you. We are going to wipe you out. We are going to murder you and kill you to the last man, woman, and child. First, you have to normalize so-called miscarriages of justice to let them know that the court system no longer recognizes nor will defend your human rights. As a matter of fact, the court system will now target you. Next thing you know, wholesale slaughter is now available. And when the Jews wound up being murdered by the millions, with a court system in Europe and in Russia and other places that condoned it, they learned a lesson from those concentration camps. They learned a lesson from those slaughterhouses. And the lesson that they came away with is, damn it, we need lawyers, judges, and we got to be everywhere. If we are vulnerable anywhere, then we are vulnerable everywhere. And they took the threat seriously. And being a part of the court system became the family business. It became the state religion. Because they saw what happens when you are leaving yourself to the mercy of the Anglos. I remind you all of the brilliant documentary series, The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, because it was exhaustive in its exploration of the events in Nazi Germany, but more importantly, the events leading up to the rise of Nazi Germany and how there were many Jews in polite society. While they were getting pats on the back, they were being invited to the parties. They were a part of high society. And they were going around writing newspaper articles and magazine articles talking about Hitler's a cool guy. Ain't no slaughters going on here. Got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. it ain't bad like that. Don't worry, the state will take care of us. We're vested citizens. That was what they were saying then. Even though the killings had already occurred. The killings had already occurred. It had already started, and there were still people acting like, oh, don't worry, these folks gonna take care of us. And when they came out of World War II, they had a whole new attitude. Ain't nobody gonna, we all we got. We all we got, and ain't nobody gonna take care of us. So we better get super damn serious. And that has been the family business ever since. That's been the family business ever since. Understand that. The family business ever since has been to make sure that they have representation. To make sure that they got somebody who is inside the system, so when them folks show up anywhere, everywhere, and by the way, those people will travel. Those people will travel. Those folks will travel. They will travel. If you're a Jewish person and you don't have any representation, man, your people are coming, is what I'm telling you. Your people are coming and they gonna be working. Now, we are the most targeted people in the world. You just saw in South Carolina where they said it's okay to shoot your children in the back. We're going to chase them down 100 yards like a deer through the woods and then gun them down and shoot them in the back. This is how serious they are taking killing your children. Condoned by the state. This is how serious they're taking it. If you want to know why it is, I had absolutely no patience whatsoever to see a bunch of dudes out there calling themselves alphas and kappas line dancing on each other's booty cheeks. It's because, damn it, we need folks to get to work here. The Divine Nine been around for damn me decades, and the only thing they do is sit up here and prop up the cocktail circuit and have freak-offs with each other. That's their focus. Seeing if they can get themselves some highfalutin title somewhere. See if they can get themselves into a white law firm, into a white corporation, into the white political establishment. That's what the hell they doing. They got members by the thousands. And a law representation unit where? A law representation unit where? Where are they representing us? Where's the foundation for it? Because they can find plenty of damn money when they want to play with other damn stuff. That's the issue. That's the issue right there, is you have a whole bunch of folks and we need to be focused like a laser beam. Damn football and we shouldn't be asking about no damn football and basketball boycott. We shouldn't even be having a talk about that. That should be the only damn thing that we are discussing. We're the folks who need it most. We should be overrepresented. We should be overrepresented in these areas because that's where the hell we need to be. Please, and one more thing I want to remind you of. Folks, do you understand? Do you understand here that Jewish people aren't, it's not like they have mass incarceration for Jews. Jewish society doesn't have mass incarceration. Who are they protect? What are they being protected from? We have overrepresentation for something that happened 80 years ago. They're not being mass incarcerated today, and yet they have absolutely put up a bulwark of protection. You know why? They've made it impossible for you to mass incarcerate them. They've made it impossible to do that. That's the thing. They've made it impossible to do that. Now, when you have folk doing that, when they're playing with you like that, that's an issue. These folks are taking it just that seriously. They're not even being mass incarcerated, and yet they've made it impossible for you to do so. It ain't because they can pass for white. Let's not talk silly. It's not because they can pass for white. It's because they took the damn threat seriously. You know what? You can't impoverish the Asians because they came over here and said, okay, it's all about finances and putting up an economic fortress. Where people have focused their attention, that's where they get results. The civil rights generation focused their attention on acceptance and forgiveness and integration and a pat on the damn head. And this is what you get. This is what you get. It is not enough to have one kid over here go to law school and one kid way out there go to law school and another one way over here going to banking, because you get left sitting ducks. You wind up having to beg the very society that's created the structure to execute you. Well, let's see if we can work with them. That's the issue. Other groups are taking this seriously, and this is a reminder to everyone. By the way, this is what it looks like here as a people. It's a damn difficult pill to swallow, but as a people, when some dummy sits up here and wants to tell you about who to vote for, and by the way, the representation you got isn't saying anything. Hey, rolling the bowling ball. Where's our representation, dude? Are you going to call them out by name? Too busy over there ass kissing. How about the folk you've already voted for? How about them sitting back waiting in the wings to see if they can get reelected for what? To do more nothing? By the way, let me go ahead and throw the Zoom link up here in the chat room here right quick. We're going to have some folks give us a call here. We're going to have some folks give us a call here. So let me go ahead and throw the Zoom link up here so we can go ahead and get to that. Let's go ahead and make sure we have it up here to make them get to that. Somebody else here. In the chat room, Shedrick Washington needs to give me a call on Zoom. And anybody else that my mods have said need to call in, they need to do that. Okay, I want to go ahead and let you all know here that there's also some more showing up about that. I was doing there's more about that there. I want to make sure I have that correct. I want you all to understand exactly what you're dealing with here in the system of white supremacy. You hadn't seen anything like this. You see, when your rights are violated, you have to hit the streets, you have to march, you have to protest, you have to kick in doors, you have to beg, you have to squeal, you have to do all kinds of things. See, that's when we say you're in the system of white supremacy, that's what we mean. If you have vested rights, you can never have a Jordan Neely. You can never have something like that happen. That's the whole point. You shouldn't even have to do anything for that to happen. You shouldn't have to, but you do, which is why we keep up the point here. Oh, you're not a vested citizen until you don't have to do that. The system is supposed to be protecting you the same way, and if it does not, then don't expect me to talk about it the same way. You all have never seen anything like this happen before, and that's the point they're trying to make. I wanted to go ahead and put this up for you all here as well, that, by the way, to show you that this is a racial point that they're making. This is a racial point that they're making. So just that quickly, they're letting you know that he's been convicted and already sentenced. Now, you have never in your born days seen anybody harm a black person, and that in the very same day convicted and sentenced, you never saw it. They're letting you know, yeah, the trial, for a trial that's supposed to be this big, oh, we can have you marched into court, a jury seated in one day, the trial is over in basically 2 business days, and you can be sentenced. So, folks, this is how a lynching works. Yeah, they're going to tell you that, oh, it takes forever to do these things. You can't get police in jail. If somebody harms a black person, well, we got to cross our I's and dot our T's. It's so hard. It's so difficult. It's so hard. And what they're showing you, nah, nigga, we just lied to you. It's never hard. It's never hard. It's never difficult. It's never a delay. It doesn't take long. We are the white supremacists. It goes as fast or as slow as we want it to. All those delays and everything that you all have to fight through, there are no delays. It's like Donald Trump with the Epstein files. There is no delay. There is no delay. We're white and we say so. We're the white supremacists. It goes as fast or as slow as we want it to. And we want to make a point that we can have the lynching done within 72 hours. You can go from sitting in court to tried, convicted, and lynched in record time. They are making a point, people. They're making a point. And I want them to do it just like this. I want them to do this right out in the open where everybody can see it. I don't want them to hide their Klan robes. I don't want them to hide their agenda. I want them to be naked and out front with it, because people will ignore this otherwise. People will not treat this with the gravity it deserves if they are not this egregious, if they're not this excessive. People will treat this like it's minor and act like, oh, well, it's just another one. No, it's not. I want them to be this extreme. I want them to show you just how devious and how evil they actually are. I want you to see that. You can't name anybody who's harmed a black person. Carolyn Bryant walked around till she died of old age and evilness. And they marched him into court, flew through the jury, blaze through the arguments, and okay, we're already done. You take a look at that. We got found guilty and sentenced all in the same day. The judge didn't even allow them time. Okay, we'll give y'all a couple of days off to come back and reconvene. It's like, oh, no. We're going to make a point here. We're going to make a point. Folks, if you think that these devious bastards have forgotten about Michael Slager, if you think that they've forgotten about Derek Chauvin, if you think that they are not still furious about Amber Geiger, you haven't been paying attention. If you think that in this suburb of the Dallas Metroplex, where we got Amber Geiger put into prison, if you think they've forgotten about Amber Geiger, and by the way, folks, was Amber Geiger convicted and sentenced in the same day, by the way? Hey, folks, did Amber Geiger get convicted and sentenced in the same day? If this is just the run-of-the-mill business, if this is just how they do it in Texas, please tell me, did Amber Geiger get convicted and sentenced in the same day? Frisco is just a suburb of Dallas, Texas, so did Amber Geiger get convicted and sentenced in the same day? Because somebody's going to try to come along and tell you that, well, this is just typical in Texas. Well, they can do that. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Wait a minute. No, this only happens when you show up. This only happens when it's you. And it is a shame, and it is unfortunate, and it is a travesty, but it is also a brutal reminder, and unfortunately, it has to be. So that you can't ignore this, you can't turn your back. It's gonna have to make a deep impression. In the chat room, Jasmine Crockett is out to lunch, along with every damn body else. I already looked on their stuff. Ain't none of them saying anything. They're all quiet. None of them are saying nothing. They are all dead quiet. Your so-called black politicians are AWOL, as they have been the entire time. They didn't say anything when he was arrested. They didn't say a damn word when the trial began, and they're not saying anything tonight either. Neither are your so-called allies. By the way, folks, neither are your so-called allies. Everybody is showing you what the game really is, and that they're all out to get you. And they'll be back in November to tell you, hey, boo. I know I was with James Tallarico. He wants to be your senator in Texas, your so-called allies. James Tallarico, hey, has James Tallarico said anything? You can go look if you want to. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. They'll be back in November. Hey, boo. Hey, I've been kind of busy, No, I was real busy when the trial was going on, so I couldn't really say nothing right then, but it's some tough things. I'm so sorry I couldn't say nothing then, but we got to beat Trump. It's elections coming up, so yeah, I wasn't there when y'all was on trial, but we got to beat Trump now, don't we? We got to beat Trump, don't we? It'll be that. So this, I know this hits deep, and unfortunately, that's what we have to have so that people will wake the hell up. We're going to have it for that. To let you know that this whole damn system, white supremacy is not an individual, it is a system. Everybody working together in concert. You are not up against one person. If it was just one person, this wouldn't happen. It's a whole bunch of folk working in concert and on code. And they do this every day. They do this for a living. They do this for a living. We're going to go ahead and jump over here on Zoom. For everybody who's on Zoom, make sure you have your camera and your microphone turned on here. I got Gene here on Zoom. Gene, where you calling me from?
I'm calling you from D.C., brother. How are you?
All right, brother. What's on your mind?
I'm not surprised. I'm always disgusted in what they do, never surprised. But my question is to our community. When is enough enough? We know what it takes. Let's stop making excuses. We know exactly what it takes to put an end to this kind of injustice that's been inflicted upon not just us, but our babies. This is a threat to our babies. How we can't keep sitting on our hands like this, waiting for these people to eventually start doing the right thing when they're never planning to do that. Why wait on it? We got what it takes. We know what it takes. Let's stop worrying about everything else and focus on our future, because them taking out our babies, they're focused on our future.
Very well said, brother. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. I mean, waiting on these folks to change, that's not the answer. Waiting on these folks to change and waiting on them to give up white supremacy. Dude, white supremacy is the whole damn reason that they marched across the oceans, lit everything on fire, sent tens of millions into slavery, hundreds of millions to slaughter. It's never enough for them. There is no amount that is or will be enough. And that's really what it is. Let's go ahead and jump back over here on Zoom again. Let me see if I can get Jonathan up here on Zoom. If you're not sitting by your phones here, folks, you're going to get kicked off. So make sure you're paying attention. All right, Jonathan, you're here on Zoom. Where you calling me from?
Oh, wow, from Detroit.
All right, Jonathan, what's on your mind?
Man, I listen to Professor Black Truth all the time. Listen, like I say, it's not just this. Like, the U.S. government is waging a full-scale hybrid war on black people in this country. But it's in everything, like I say. This is just one aspect of it, the criminal justice system, like I say. Another aspect of it is cultural, like I say. We talked about how they try to send our culture off, our hip-hop culture off, even our verbiage and our slang. That's another area. Like I say, also doing it biologically as well. Like I say, primarily through our women, the gender world. Like I say, we don't talk about this enough. Like I say, this is in literally every single thing that's aimed at black women and girls. Like I say, it's so. Let me give you an example. Like I say, it's so blatant. Like I say, I give you all homework assignment. The next black holiday, Martin Luther King Day, any holiday, I want you all to watch Bounce Network, the biggest black channel. You're going to see from maybe prime time, from maybe 3 p.m. to 10 p.m., you're going to see all day interracial movies of black women with a white man somewhere. And the final movie of the day is going to be something like, what's love got to do with it? That's not subliminal messaging. That's direct messaging. You can go on Google right this damn second, type in anything regarding black men, love relationships. The search will directly tell us not to go to white women. Like I said, if I type in something positive, you type in something negative about black women and white men, it's going to send you straight to them. Like I said, I did an experiment one day. I typed in a Lindsey Vonn quote. Said, Lindsey Vonn said, I took a good black man off the market. I went to Google, typed that SN. I went to YouTube. It sent me to effing Cynthia G. It's that blatant. It's everything. Every social media site, everything aimed at black women and girls, literally, they had this. And like I say, the movie just came out. The Is Guy, there was no
not accidental. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight, brother. It is not accidental and it's not subtle. And I hope it hits hard enough to make an impression. I had to do a special program here tonight because I hope it hits hard enough to make an impression, people. This is how determined they are to send a message and that the message is white supremacy is here, and we are going to do it blatantly and openly in your faces. We are going to do it blatantly, openly in your faces. We're going to have you, in less time than it would take for you to close on a house. We are going to show you just how quick and how rigged our court system is. In less time than it takes for you to get your driver's license in the mail, we're going to show you, we can have you tried and convicted for murder in less time than it takes to do that. That's not accidental. That's not accidental at all. Let's go ahead and jump back over here on Zoom again. We got Superpower Media up here on Zoom for us. Let me go ahead and get Superpower Media up here, folks. Make sure you're sitting by your phones here tonight. If you're not paying attention, you might get removed early. All right, Superpower Media, what's on your mind?
I want to say this, Jason. I want everybody to remember this name, Ethan Couch. And if you don't remember that name, that was the white boy that killed 4 people a couple years back, drinking and driving. The judge helped that clown get off. And here in Texas, Dallas, Texas, Ethan Couch got off with killing 4 people, murdering 4 people.
He sure did.
Drinking and driving. People remember that. So yes, this is an undercover race war that's going on.
No, it's not even undercover anymore, brother. You got President of the United States bringing over here Afrikaners. Elon Musk openly calling for white empowerment. It's not even undercover anymore, brother. This is not undercover. They removed all the black folk from the jury. Not undercover. You got to try a lot harder than that to be undercover. It's like he's not just overcover. He's on top of the dinner table. Would you like some white supremacy, with your cornflakes?
And Jason, I've never seen them sending somebody this quick. So the fix was in when they took the 3 black educated black women off the trial.
I said the fix was in as soon as he did the gag order. And I've been saying this the entire time. As soon as I saw that gag order, I said the fix is in. He confirmed it. Now, this is before you get to the all-white jury, brother. When I saw the gag order and then when he said no cameras, and I said this Saturday, these were all the things that were not an issue in the Amber Geiger trial. Nobody was being shut up and we had cameras on it. That was the reason why Amber Geiger ordinarily could have gotten off and wasn't able to, because you could see everything. And the fact that you could see everything, that was really what made sure that justice was served. This judge right here, I said this Saturday, did a Judge Schrader, like Kyle Rittenhouse. You have a judge who's probably not going to be on the bench very much longer. And on his way out, just like Schrader, on his way out, let's go ahead and strike a blow for white supremacy. And that's exactly what you just saw occur. A repeat of that. That's letting you know these guys, their whole, as far as they're concerned, their entire time on the bench was a waste if they were not going to cash in all their chips to do something like this. As far as they're concerned, it's a waste if you don't do it. So what was the whole point of you going to law school and being a judge if you were not going to enforce white supremacy from the bench? Even if they kick you off the bench, it would have been a waste if you hadn't done it. So it is a religion. Yeah. I've seen folks saying the judge is retiring. I wouldn't be surprised, because I'm just saying this is following the Judge Schrader playbook, except for the televising of it, which Schrader wasn't worried about because he sat there and told everybody his finger's on the scale, that he's going to make sure how that turns out. And so that's what I'm letting you all know. It's like, everything that we did in the Amber Geiger trial, you watch this judge go through and systematically dismantle it. So gag order, no cameras, kick them niggas off the jury before I go ahead and retire. So before they can punish me, let me go ahead and make sure he gets off. Let me go ahead and make sure no double jeopardy for him. And all right, well, let me make sure that we convict him. Okay, we got that. So if he gets out, it had to be somebody else to do that. So let me do this on the way out, because that was so egregious to do that action there. That is I think that's going to be very hard to uphold on appeal, the way that jury was done. Of course, you have to have a competent lawyer for that. I'm not sure you do. I'm not certain that there is. So, yeah, there's that. But I told everybody from the beginning, I knew the fix was in with the gag order. And then it was solidified with the no cameras. I said, because I remember I was a part of the Amber Geiger trial. I bought the billboards in Dallas. Because, see, I got to keep coming back there. I bought the billboards in Dallas, and folk were calling me and news stations calling me and stuff, and then ran off when they realized, it's not going to be a coon fest. So they knew about that, and that really got the word of mouth out in that regard. Really got it up. And so I was like, yeah, that's what we needed. Open conversation. This judge went to work from the very beginning to shut that down. And then we're going to turn off the cameras. Just in case y'all are still talking about it, I'm going to be doing a bunch of stuff up in here I don't want you to see. And what I'm also saying is, by the way, that goes for the prosecutor and the defense. That goes for the prosecutor and the defense because, we're not seeing anything. That's not accidental. Mm-hmm. I'll let you have the last word.
And also, Jason, this is to strike fear into you protecting yourself. Bullshit. I want black people to know that no matter what they do, protect your family, protect your children at all costs. We're worried about the trial. I mean, if you have to go to prison behind protecting yourself, so be it. But hey, don't be out here scared to protect your family, man. That's not going to happen. And like you said, they didn't even forget about the OJ trial because OJ didn't even have an all black jury, but he had enough on there to where he was able to sway in his favor. So yeah, this war is the wars continue, man. B1 Jason.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Yeah, to anybody thinking that everything's gonna be all right and it's taken care of below the scenes and just pray about it and all that's taken care of and you can just go ahead and bull jive, please understand the system is at work. While you trying to get turned up, while you're trying to be distracted, while you're focusing on other things, the system is already built and in place. And this is what it's doing. They march you into court and it's like, okay, well, there were some black jurors, don't worry, we got rid of those. So even if you're running around trying to be colorblind, chase a zaddy, be an ass kisser or whatever, the system is not colorblind. They just showed you they're not colorblind at all. All right, we're back over here on Zoom. Okay, brother, unmute yourself. What's your name? Microphone, lower left corner. Lower left corner is the microphone. You need to press that so you can be heard. You're going to try to have a little patience here because it looks like you're kind of in a situation. Although I can't wait all evening either for it. So you got to press the microphone button before you can be heard. Okay, let me go ahead and put you back in the chat room here and see if we can catch up with you. Let me go ahead and see if I can get Kanaz up here on Zoom for me here right quick. Let me see if we can get Kanaz up here. All right, Kanaz, what's on your mind?
Hey, what's going on, man? B1, it's been a minute. I ain't called in a while, but I'm Corinne's father. She had called you a couple years ago.
Yeah, brother. And I was thinking about that just a couple of days ago. As a matter of fact, brother, I was thinking about that a couple of days ago because YouTube, once again, I wish we had things better together because they took that video down. And I was thinking about that just a couple of days ago, brother.
And see, that's why I was calling in, man, because, I don't call in much, but see, I know a lot of times we want to, hit y'all up, hit the new black media up and ask y'all what's the next move, what we gonna do, and really put it in your lap like, hey, these is the marching orders. But the truth is we all attacked in much different ways. And so you can't go on the internet and say things that these other people say, which technically what they saying can be taken as threats, as terroristic threats.
Oh, it absolutely is. The folk who were sitting up here defending Daniel Penny, the folks defending George Zimmerman, they were Chud the Builder. I mean, you got a whole damn channel and these folk acting stupid about that. If you tried the exact same thing, running up on white folk and calling them all kinds of racial slurs with a gun on you and posting that you have a gun on you, brother, they'd have been come and pick you up. As soon as you
Yeah,
walked out the
that's-
door the next morning, they'd be like, okay, we have enough evidence. We got probable cause. Get your ass in this paddy wagon.
And that's what I want to say to the family, because I be getting frustrated too. And I'll be sometime like, hearing us talk about it. And my honest opinion, I believe that the answer is not in politics at all. I believe we've never voted any type of success or progress into
No matter
into
what you
fruition.
vote for, you get white supremacy.
Yeah, exactly. So throughout the whole process, when Biden was running and all that, when I was hearing a lot of talk about, like sitting on the couch, I'm cool with it and I understand it. But what was really bothering me is that it wasn't, like, in my opinion, enough focus on the fact that whoever wins, we still lose. And so that for me is a real big problem when I'm seeing stuff like this, like that white kid in the same city killed a Mexican dude the same way, stabbed him. See, I gotta watch my language, like all this old weird shit that they got
No, brother,
going
you're
on.
fine. You're fine. He stabbed
But
him.
yeah, and then that white kid got off. You know what I'm saying? He's sitting at home. I think he got like house arrest or something like that. But they just being extremely blatant with it. And the thing is, just simply knowing it and being on edge is not enough. And that's why I ain't gonna say too much. I'm just gonna show you because I know I'm on camera. But this is, what I'm saying, everything that I feel like needs to be going on.
Yeah.
This is like probably 3 months worth of MREs. You know what I'm saying? I got the little 5,000 mile radios, handheld radios, you know what I'm saying? The night vision, you know what I'm saying? The water tablets, all that, man, because this is not a game. This is very, very serious, dude. And I think that a lot of us is feeling like our hands is tied, but that's not the way we get down. That's not the way we have stayed alive this long. And this is really like, you know what I'm saying? I understand they got a lot of people shaking up and we be wanting to just hit y'all up like, man, what's the next move? What's the play? And we know y'all can't say nothing because we scrutinized in a much
Well,
more.
here's the crazy thing about it, brother. These other groups don't have to say anything because
Yeah.
what's understood don't have to be explained. And they are under much less pressure. Ain't nobody oppressing them. And they already understand. You know,
Yeah.
you didn't have, that's why I was showing you out of Nashville. These folk here jump up because they already know what's going on. They know what's going on. It doesn't have to be said. They just go ahead and buck them up or whatever. Dylan Roof went off in that church because Jared Taylor and them been telling them. They been saying that. So they already know, okay, Peyton Gendron, I'm going to go off into a grocery store and shoot up a bunch of folk.
Yeah.
Just one among many. So they don't have to say anything every damn week.
And if they do, they not blacklisted or shadow banned the way the new black media is. Not at all. Not even to the 10th. And so what I feel like we got to do is, like, if you want to, I guess, we can look at politics and maybe the family can start on the low level. Like city council is the easiest thing to probably get into, work your way up from city council, see what you can do, get into the politics. And that's cool. That's the long game. But for right now, y'all really, really need to be focused on getting your preparedness down pat. You know what I'm saying?
All of you need to be prepared. All of us. I say not all of you. All of us need to be prepared at any and all times. Period. If you got children, you need to debrief them. As Farrakhan said decades ago, you need to debrief your children. You can go take them out to the nicest suburb. You can go get them away from the hood. You can go tell all them stories you want to, but if they are the only black face sitting there, they are in danger.
Yeah.
You sit up here and tell them about, what they got to worry about if you in the neighborhood and all these black folk here, and then you go take them into a place where ain't no black folk, and next thing you know, you ended up like this. You need to tell your children where they really, first of all, you can't be delusional about where you at, because you can't teach somebody if you don't even know your damn self. You can't be delusional, and you cannot afford for your children to be delusional. That's not something you can sit up here and question with them.
Yeah, and that's real. And unfortunately for me, when the last time I was talking to you, I was living in Houston, but the money brought me out here to the belly of the beast. So I'm in Florida right now. I'm in Fort Myers. But I ain't gonna be here for long. I'm just gonna, do a nice little flip and then get back to the land, because I got some land out there and I'm trying to build up a farm. I feel like we got to really be self-sufficient. My farm is really it's gonna be open for whoever. FBA, I mean. But once I get it up and running and operational, this is just where our mindset should be. You know what I'm saying? Like, I heard another OG speaking earlier. We can't just run into the schools and alert our children and scream white supremacy running through the front door, but maybe we can get some trades that will allow us to go into the school under the guise of teaching these specific trades and then teach our children that way what they're going to be encountering once they get into the work field. Just different food for thought, man. Because this really got me upset, and I'm just really solution driven. And I know we can't say too much, but we need to really focus on these solutions.
No, you're absolutely right. And politics, I talk about politics, I discuss politics, I will continue to do that. But that is only one dimension of it.
Yeah.
And I said that when George Floyd, I was bailing folk out of jail out of my own pocket. I was doing the damn thing. Politics is one avenue. It's not the only one. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Politics is one way of dealing with these things. It's one way. But if you want us to go into that, the Rick Child situation shouldn't have happened, folks. That should have been done away with decades ago. You can't go into an Asian neighborhood and set up a black store, a store where black folk running things and survive. You can't do it. As a black person, I don't give a damn how much money you got. You cannot go into an Asian neighborhood and set up a store and be thriving. How in the hell is it that we keep having stories like this? They can set up stores in our neighborhoods and folks are going there. You can't pay them. They will sit up here and go straight by it. Everybody got all the damn money in the world to go where they need to go buy shoes or go buy cell phones or whatever. Okay, then you got enough money to drive past the Asian store over here. You sure do. There's really no excuse for it. So you can't go in their neighborhood and set up shop. We should have been done away with that decades ago on account of the fact that this is what keeps occurring. It should be all black stores there. It should be all black stores there. If that was a situation, you wouldn't have the Rick Child thing to begin with, because he would be exactly where he's supposed to be, not around us. These people ain't supposed to have 6 and 7 chances to be shooting at us in the store. Well, he was doing that for a decade. He shouldn't have been there for a decade to be shooting at anybody. Let me go ahead and get over here on Zoom. I got somebody on Samsung here on Zoom. Samsung, make sure you have your camera and your microphone turned on. I'll give you 3 seconds to go ahead and take care of that. Samsung, make sure you have your camera and your microphone turned on. I'll give you 2 seconds to do that. Samsung, make sure you have your camera and your microphone turned on. I can give you 1 more second to do that. Okay, go ahead and unmute yourself. Brother, I know you're kind of in a spot there apparently, but if I can't get you to be heard, I can't do anything with it. So you got to press the microphone icon. It's in the lower left-hand corner of the screen. You're going to have to press that, because without that, you can't be heard. Okay, I'm not really sure why you're having issues. I really don't. But try us back later. Let me go ahead and jump over here on Zoom again. Let me see if we can get Charles up here on Zoom for us. Let me go ahead and see if we can get Charles up here on Zoom for us. Charles. Okay, I don't see Charles here, folks. Make sure you have your cameras and microphones turned on just so we don't have any trolling issues. All right, Charles, unmute yourself. Microphone's in the lower left-hand corner. Unmute yourself. I know this is newfangled technology for some of y'all, but the microphone's the little icon in the bottom left-hand corner. If you press it, it'll let you start speaking. Without that, you can't be heard.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. When you press it, it works. What's on your mind?
Yeah, Jason, one name comes to mind with this trial here in Texas. Kendrick John.
Okay, brother, your signal's breaking up on you there, but thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me see if we can get Zen Soul up here. Let's see if we can get Zen Soul up here. Okay, get Zen Soul up here on Zoom for us. All right, Zen Soul, what's on your mind?
Hi, Jason. It's so nice to meet you.
Turn off your YouTube there so we're not hearing me.
Yep. Let me do that. Yes. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Okay, you need to mute your Zoom there, otherwise they're hearing me. I mean, you mute your YouTube, otherwise they're hearing me.
Yes. There is no defense in this case. Zero. There is not a defense for Karmelo. Not a defense at all. And this was a strategic way to put this young man away. So I am just so done with all of this. And I know that you know, and I thank you for being the voice of our community, but you can't be that only voice. We have all got to be a voice for our community. It is not just one voice. It's just not one man standing up. It's all of us standing up on truth and what we need to do as a people and be real. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. We have got to do that for our people. This was injustice that is unconscionable injustice. And for every inhumane act that they have and every injustices that they have done to foundational of Black American, it is returned to them 100-fold because they have done this for generations, and we have got to stop it, people. We can stop it. We can do it. So I thank you, Jason, for being the voice, but you're not the only voice. And we have got to stand on what is truth. And that truth is going to make them uncomfortable. But who gives a damn? We have been uncomfortable for how many centuries? We have been uncomfortable. And so I am uncomfortable with them making us uncomfortable simply because they have the rule of law. There is no law. This is lawlessness. This is complete and utter lawlessness. And we stand with our brother Karmelo because he stood up like many other Black men would not stand up. You fight for your community. You stand up for your family. And you do that whether you live or die. You stand. That is what we do. That is what we do. And I came from that generation, and I stand on our people standing for what is right for us. Fuck them who don't want to stand with us. Excuse my French. If they don't stand with us, we don't stand with them. We have no allies. We have no allies. We have no community with the brown and Black. I am not a minority, and you reject that. When they say you are a minority, no, I'm not a minority. I am a foundational Black American, and I am not a minority.
Not only not a minority, but on days like this, you're not an American.
Oh.
On days like this, you're not an American.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot be an American if my Americanness is not honored. I cannot be an American if my constitutional rights are not honored. So
That's
when
right.
folks have asked stupid questions about why is it you don't stand for the flag or this, that, and the other, well, it's not my flag if I'm not covered by it.
Well,
It's not my flag if my rights are not honored. If my rights under it are honored, then that's my flag. So you're not going to impose it on me when it's convenient for you.
Right.
My rights are my rights, whether they're convenient for you or not. And my privileges are my privileges, whether they're convenient for you or not. Now, I have human rights, which no one can extend to me nor remove from me. However, that Americanness thing, we're going to have a divergence of position on this, because so long as my rights are not honored by the system, then you're going to have to justify to me my usage of saying that you are an American if I'm not being honored. I'll let you have the last word.
Yes. And are we equal? Are we equal? Okay. If we are equal, well then where is the equality in all the other cases, as you have named and we have all heard? Where is the equality? And if we are equal, well, why aren't we measured by that same equality? And I thank you, and I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. And that's why it's necessary to make an example of you. It's necessary to make an example because you don't want young black people to think to themselves that you are just not subject to any random white person coming up to you and violating your rights. Just whatever happens, you just have to roll with it. They don't want it to start becoming a thing where you look at that and start responding that way, that you yourself will, in the words of Brother Neely Fuller, produce justice. Oh, no. We're going to try to make an example of you to try to scare all the others. Let's see if we do enough here. Maybe it'll scare all the others. I don't think that's going to be successful, though. Let's go ahead and jump back over here on Zoom again. I got a number of folks here on Zoom. Everybody just be patient. We'll see about getting to you all here. I got Yas serving here on Zoom. What's on your mind?
Brother Jason, how you doing today? Shalom.
All right, brother. What's on your mind?
Sorry. Let me turn off my YouTube. Okay, I'm really angry as hell. I was born in 1973. I grew up in an all-white neighborhood, Los Altos High School. I got bullied every day, and they lied on me every day. And I was always told never to stand up or fight. But my parents from Louisiana, by the way, north and south. Now, they do this because they're bold. They can get away with it. They've got white supremacy, but you've got something that they don't have. You know, we're in Fight Club status. I say make it a point where anybody who has to defend themselves and they can't afford even just to pay their own rent, just please figure out who they are in jail and just like donate to them, you know, because I've been provoked my whole life. But sir, not to keep rambling on, Cousin Jason, I think this is good because it's time to unite the entire people. Because I've been in county jail. I've seen Bloods and Crips fight each other in sundown towns, and it's not fair. And I just want to just leave you with this one, sir. You know, we are the people. I have my DNA sequence, and I know this right now with the injustice our Hebrew brother Karmelo Anthony has dealt with by these heathens. It's just an example of John 15:19 KJV, and all the Hebrews out there know what I'm talking about. And sir, I have just one last request from you before I go. I want to show you something if I can. It's really, but I want to basically, if I can, just like show it to you offline. I'm trying to get my thing back, but sir, I just want to say thank you. You know, Black
brother, thank you very much. We appreciate that. And look here, he's from Louisiana. Carmelo's people are from Louisiana. I'm from Louisiana. When you grow up seeing unfiltered, unchallenged white supremacy in that manner, you can't sit up here and fool us for the rest of our lives. We don't want to hear sob stories. We don't want to hear people trying to equivocate on it. We don't want to hear any of that. We don't want to hear it. You don't sit up here and ignore those things when that's the way that goes down. So when we go to other places, there's a reason why you keep hearing Louisiana coming up from other places. Yeah, when we spread out and whatnot, these folks, they can tell when you different. They can tell when you different and you from a place that doesn't tolerate that because you've seen how far they'll take it. Let me go ahead and jump back over here on Zoom. And Nisi, Cheryl, D Squared, Jared, Triple, everybody else there, just hang on here. We're going to see about getting everybody. Make sure when y'all get on the phone here, make sure you get in, and get out. So make sure you get in, get out. All right, don't drag on it. Daryl, what's on your mind?
Jason, always an excellent broadcast. But this one right here hits it to the core. You know me, man. I'm a long time listener, and I'm from the South Side of Chicago. And this racism is not just in Louisiana, it's all over. You said that on numerous amount of occasions. White supremacy is all over the world. And this right here, it's home a lot because this situation, when I saw the verdict, not just the verdict, but I saw when they put up the jury, and it was all white jury, I said, okay, they're going to try to convict this kid. And they sure enough did. And the thing is that, we stand up and keep on doing what we're doing and keep on doing stuff and staying on code and doing what we're supposed to do. And they think our supposed to do is be in line with them and knuckle under them. That's not what that's about. Our supposed to do is take care of our families, do what we're supposed to do, and be black first. And the bottom line is that this situation right here is the most heinous thing that you could do to a 72-year-old kid defending himself.
I mean, but this is what they've been doing. I mean, take a look at
That's
Emmett
right.
Till, brother. Take a look at
That's
Emmett
right.
Till and all the other reform. White supremacy has consistently attacked your children.
That's
White
right.
supremacy, it has no scruples, it has no morals, it has no
That's right.
values.
Not
Take a
at
look
all.
at Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, they defend the ravaging of children.
Yes.
Not only that, but they're proud to do so. So you're dealing with a subhuman segment. You're not dealing with humanity. Not
That's
at all.
right.
So they are proud. They pride themselves on their ability to slaughter and victimize and violate children.
Yes.
To them, that's a plus. They get pats on the back and high fives.
That's right.
Take a look at Jeffrey Epstein. If you
That's
take a
right.
look at that, brother, they were all riding with him to this day. There's a bunch of them still riding for him.
Yes, they
There's
are.
a bunch of them
Yes,
still riding for him, but they were riding for him right up until he got convicted.
That's right.
They were going to keep he had already got caught down in Florida. That didn't shake him off. Everybody was
No, it
like,
didn't.
okay, well, as long as anybody's saying nothing, we're going to rock with you. It wasn't until he finally went to prison that they finally started backing off.
Yes.
But up until then, oh, hell no, damn them kids. So especially
right.
the black children, it's like, oh, no. You're not even human. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight here. Let me see if we can get Cheryl up here on Zoom for us. Yeah, people, look, they target children. They are not beneath it. They have no scruples about it. They target children. Okay, we got Cheryl here on Zoom. Cheryl, make sure you have your camera and your microphone turned on for me here. Everybody who's on Zoom, make sure you have those turned on just so we don't have any trolling issues. Very, very important to make sure we don't have that. So make sure you have that turned on for us here just so we don't have any trolling issues. If you don't, we're going to have to move on. I can give you 3 more seconds and then we're going to have to move on. I can give you 2 more seconds and then we have to move on. I can give you 1 more second, then we're going to have to move on. All right, Cheryl, thank you very much for giving us a call tonight here. Let me see if we can get Triple X up here on Zoom for me. Yeah, folks, your children are not safe because your children are the most targeted. Easy targets. Terrorize to show you like the Mexican cartels, we want to show you that nothing is beneath us. We want to show you that we are the animals and the demons, that there is nothing beneath us and nothing that we won't do. That's the whole point they want to make for you here. All right, we got Triple X here on Zoom. Triple X, what's on your mind? Unmute yourself, folks. Okay, brother, you have to unmute yourself. All right, what's on your mind?
Salute to you, man. Thanks for jumping on this. I guess my question is quick because I know a lot of people on the line. I won't hold you up, but simply put, considering he received a substantial amount of GoFundMe money and support, do you think he had the absolute best legal representation he could have had, considering the situation and the amount of money that was received from the GoFundMe?
Here's the problem with that, brother. First of all, you're in a courtroom where the judge is working actively against you.
Sure.
Bill Cosby had plenty money, still went to prison.
Yeah.
O.J. Simpson had plenty money, made it the first time, not the second time.
Yeah.
So money in a rigged courtroom. I mean, you saw the woman who sends O.J. Simpson. She was nakedly biased.
Yeah,
We're here to get you because they didn't get you last time. So that's my first answer to you. My second answer is, brother, we don't really have when Johnny was alive, and this is what I despise. You can't put it all on one person. You can't put it all on one man. And this idea that you got a nation of black folk tennis shoes and cell phones are democratized, but legal representation and excellence, okay, one person got to do that and be savior. That's bull crap. We'll have thousands of athletes, but as far as protecting your civil and legal rights, we're going to outsource that to all the folks who are persecuting us. That's the problem right there, is that there shouldn't even be a question, and unfortunately there is.
Right. I got you. Yeah. You know, my position was not saying that would have definitely had got it, but hey, you need everything you can get when your life is on the line, and the young brother's life was on the line. You know what I'm saying? So you need the best that you can afford on all fronts. But I agree, it may not have gotten it though, but in that situation, you got to pull all the chips to the front of the table for sure.
I agree, brother. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me see if I can get Jacqueline up here on Zoom. Smucky, Terrence, everybody else here who's on Zoom, just hold tight here. We're going to see about getting everybody up here. Let me go ahead and see if I can get Jacqueline up here. All right, Jacqueline, unmute yourself. Lower left-hand corner. There you go.
Jacqueline up here. All right, Jacqueline, unmute yourself.
Turn off your speakers.
Lower left-hand corner.
Okay, Jacqueline, what's on your mind?
I just wanted to call in and say that I'm devastated about this decision. I mean, I'm really flabbergasted. I can't believe that I just want us to fight. We have to stand up and fight. We need to do whatever we got to do, you know, as far as the court system goes. Like you said, we need to get our children to become attorneys. We need to keep them in the house. We need to protect them. We need to protect each other out here. These two decisions what happened in South Carolina to that 14-year-old young man shouldn't happen. And this case with Karmelo Anthony, he was just railroaded from the start. From the point to where they gave him an all-white jury. It's just too much. We got to stay with each other. We have to stick with each other. I'm just so sad that we have to go through this.
Well, I'm sad about that too, but by the same token, unfortunately, I said this at the beginning, unfortunately, this is necessary. It is necessary because, sister, a polite tap on the shoulder ain't been working. Politely worded email warning ain't been working. Me every weekend, it helps to a certain degree, but if you want to have a real shakeup, stuff like this gets your undamn divided attention. That yes, we will have a kangaroo court. We'll kick all the black folk off. We'll have you tried, convicted, and sentenced. Convicted and sentenced in the same day. Some you ain't never seen before. Yeah, when it goes this far overboard, folk can't ignore this. You can't deny this at that point. So, and here's the next thing that's going to bother you. You just saw the Rick Child situation. Now you've seen this situation. That won't be enough. Unfortunately, that won't be enough to get folk to say, okay, this is going to have not just your undivided attention, but your consistent priority. Yeah. This has to be a priority long after your feelings have subsided and long after you've gone back to work for the next 3, 4, 5 months. You're going to have to make this daily life. Those of you who have kids, I don't want to see a nigga. I said it. I don't want to see a nigga talking about they damn kids graduating from high school and going to college if you ain't talking about putting them in some law schools.
Exactly.
And I don't want to see a damn twerking judge or a damn thotting judge sleeping with a damn cop in the damn chambers.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to see none of that bull jive.
Neither am I.
I don't want to hear about your raggedy ass grandkids talking about college if y'all are not putting them in something that we actually damn well need. We Johnny Cochran been gone for decades, and I'll be damned we ain't had another one since. And we talking about just one. We need thousands of them. And don't have one, and then you'll see jackasses sitting up here on social media like we're all impressed because your kids are sitting up here getting a scholarship to go to damn psychology class somewhere. I'll let you have the last word.
one last thing, and another thing that surprises me is I hear a lot of other Black YouTubers on here saying the most despicable stuff about this young man when he defended himself. Like, I have been so disgusted after this verdict came down today, listening to some of these people just degrade this young man like he didn't have the right to defend himself. And I'm looking at these people and I'm like, you're the same color as this child.
Well, that's the whole thing. They're not, they may be the same color, but they're not the same kind. They're off code. And the good news is, unlike the old days, they're documented. So everybody who has said that and stuff, it's like, okay, go ahead and do that. I want you to show your colors. I want you to be open. I want you to be a bubble. I don't want the coons and the cowards hiding anymore. I want them to show themselves, to get bold, to be on the record. I want you to speak up, to get emboldened and speak up openly, because you think everything's going to be sweet. Because the pendulum eventually swings back the other way, sister. Take solace. The pendulum swings back the other way. Let's get back over here on Zoom again and see if we can get Smucky up here on Zoom right quick. Let me see if we can get you up here right quick. Okay, make sure you buy your phones there, folks. We can't wait all night for you. All right, Smucky, what's on your mind?
Sorry about that, brother Jason. B1, brother. Great broadcast tonight. I have to say that it's a beautiful thing to hear our FBA culture on the same page tonight about this dishonest and unscrupulous trial. I have a quote from Dr. Amos Wilson. Why is it that the people who pray the most have the most children in the jails and prisons of America today? Those who shout and kick over the benches and so forth are filling up the prisons, and have the children killing each other and addicted out here in these streets. This is just a 2026 George Steiny trial. And for the ones who do not know who George Steiny is, in 1944 in South Carolina, in Clarendon County, just an hour and 25 minutes from Richland County, where Rick Child trial was just held, a young man named George Steiner, who was 14 years old, an FBA who was wrongly convicted and then executed after a 2-hour trial, convicted by an all-white jury and then executed. And in Texas, you do life in prison if you kill anyone. It's almost as being executed. We need more FBA attorneys, FBA judges, FBA justices, FBA commissioners, and FBA referees who can fight for us in front of the bench as well as behind the bench. Power is not sinful. You cannot exist without power, and there is no life without power. To not hear anything from our Black politicians, the NAACP, the Urban League, Movement for Black Lives, Congressional Black Caucus, it does not concern being in front. If it does not concern them being in front of the camera,
if it doesn't have a direct benefit for them, they're AWOL. And the benefit, if there can be one, the benefit of situations like this is when they could bring their asses up asking for the vote. All you got to ask them, by the way, where were you when Karmelo Anthony got sentenced and everything? I couldn't help but notice I didn't see anything from you. That's the kind of questions that need to be asked in their faces. And that immediately reminds people, oh yeah, your ass is worthless. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. We appreciate that. Let me see if I can get Terrence, then Joseph and Solace here. Let me go ahead and get y'all right quick. Let me get Terrence up here first. Terrence, make sure you buy your phone here, folks. If you're giving us a call tonight, please be paying attention. If you're not, we're going to have to move on. Terrence, we'll give you 3 more seconds here. Then we're going to have to go ahead and move on, folks. So if you're running around the house or whatever, you don't want to be doing that. Okay, Terrence.
Yep, I'm out of here.
Okay. Let me go ahead and see if we can get Joseph up here on Zoom for me right quick. Then I'll get Solace and Ray. All right, Joseph, what's on your mind?
Hey, how's it going, Jason? This is Pariah. I'm one of your members. Basically, obviously this verdict is very disturbing. Seeing this public lynching of this young man, and we know what it's meant to do. It's meant to, make us, deter us from doing what Malcolm X said, which is basically by any means necessary in regards to self-defense. We just as FBAs, we just got to continue to not deter from his teachings, keep our
Brother, you
emotions.
know
and
what?
shit.
When we talk about by any means necessary, I have to remind you all that is in all dimensions, not just the ones you're comfortable with.
Correct.
Let me go ahead and get a little grimy with it here. For decades, I've had clowns and morons and idiots sit up here and be unhappy with me because I told them I ain't got a bad word to say about Frank Lucas. Well, they love seeing Denzel Washington in the movie and whatnot, but I don't have a bad word to say about Frank Lucas. If I do have a bad word to say about him, is that he didn't invest enough money. If I got something bad to say, that'll be it. Same thing for Nicky Barnes. If I do have a negative word, it'll be, boy, I wish we had invested in some more concrete stuff. I wish that had been happened. But when you say by any means necessary, make sure you actually mean that. Because when you say that, you're up against people who really mean it. This case right here shows you up against folk when they say by any means, they mean that. We don't care if we kill you, literally kill you, kill your kids. Talking about Frank Lucas brought drugs. Okay, these folk over here just sentenced Karmelo Anthony. They've been bringing the drugs.
Right.
That's the rules they playing by. The fella sitting up in the White House right now. That's what by any means necessary means. That's who you up against. I mean, gangstering on a level you ain't even thought of. So when we talk about fighting these things and by any means necessary, please understand what that really means. And I want us to be aware that, by the way, that's more than just one dimensional. That's why I bring you back to, in Karmelo's case, he was at a school. In the South Carolina case, he was at a store. In Trayvon Martin's case, he was walking down the damn street. Think about that for a few moments. So it isn't just one dimensional. It is not. And when we say those words, you need to make sure, are you defending yourself economically by any means necessary? Are you defending yourself geographically by any means necessary? Because you're up against folks who are lawless. Not just immoral, lawless.
Yep.
I'll let you have the last word.
No, I agree. I totally agree with what you're saying. And I'm out here in LA, so I've been in many situations where I had to, put those things into action on more than one front. So in the workplace and physically as well. So, yeah.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. When you say by any means necessary, you got to mean that. I mean, you can say it, but just understand you're up against folks who really mean it. Your opposition really means that. Okay, then you better really mean that. You better really mean that. Let me go ahead and jump over here on Zoom right quick. We got Solace here on Zoom. What's on your mind, Solace?
Hey, Jason, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What's on your mind?
Okay, I'd like to just, tell my story for a minute. It connects with Karmelo's and the whole thing and everything. I lived in Texas, in McKinney, Texas, from 2016 to December 2025. So I just left. And I actually met Karmelo a few times, but I didn't know who he was at the time until this happened. I worked in my part-time for a food delivery company out there in Texas called Favor. And it's like Uber Eats, but for groceries. So I would go to the HEB where he worked in Frisco. And what they would do, they had young kids working there. They'd load the groceries into your car and they put them in the trunk so you don't have to get out and you would pull away. And I met him a few times. Like I said, I realized after the trial, and he was always polite, quiet, never slammed my trunk like the other kids would do. And he was always smiling. He was a good kid. And, so that's how I met him. And I had gotten into some trouble in Texas. Never been arrested in my life. Never anything like that. I had bought a Delta 8 vape pen from the vape store out there in Frisco. And I had gotten pulled over for whatever reason. And the cops saw the vape pen and they took the vape pen and they arrested me because of it. and I was facing 2 to 10 years for that. Like I said, never been arrested, and I was facing 2 to 10 years for the vape pen. So, I'm scared, never been in this situation. So I got a lawyer. I searched out black lawyers in Texas, and did some research, found a black lawyer, black-owned law firm, a husband and wife. So I paid them what I paid them for them to take my case. So for the next year, I'm going back and forth to court thinking they're doing stuff, but turns out for a whole year, they just kept postponing my trial until I get an email saying I have a jury trial coming up. I say, what the heck is going on? Jury trial, I'm paying you to keep me out. Turns out they did nothing the whole year. So I fired them, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just go find me a white lawyer. I find me a white lawyer, and then I have to pay him up front, the whole thing up front. So I pay him up front, so the black lawyers didn't do anything for me. I would have went to jail if it was for them. So I get the lawyer, and the lawyer, he takes my case, the white lawyer, and then the prosecutor on my case was also the pretrial prosecutor for Karmelo Anthony. And so I'm going back and forth to court. I'm seeing it was armed guards there with AR-16s, all for the Karmelo Anthony. So my lawyer makes a deal with the pretrial lawyer for Karmelo, the prosecutor for Karmelo, and ends up getting me probation for something I bought at the store and had a receipt for. So that's how Texas gets down, and that's how the black lawyers did me. So I truly believe, when you say something is wrong with the black lawyer class, it definitely is. So
we outsourced that. All this time, we've been thinking that we had Thurgood Marshalls and a bunch of Johnny Cochrans, and I'm just the person who broke the damn code of silence to say, man, damn that's not what's going on out here. That's not what's happening. If you're black and papered up, they don't even have black lawyers like that anymore. I think Bill Cosby had one, but other than that, you ain't seen them anywhere else. The rest of them have had white lawyers, man. The rest of them have had white lawyers, bro. So, like I say, the black legal class has sat up here and has just sold everybody out in that regard. So we're just going to have a wholesale overhaul, and it's really going to start at the college level. I don't really want to deal with anybody who's out there. It's going to have to be reformed from the ground up.
Very, very, very true. And she's wearing all this expensive stuff and all this, and I'm like, where's all this money going? It's going to her wardrobe, but she's not doing anything for me. But the kicker is, when I get my lawyer, they put the judge on my case. My lawyer takes one look at the paper and he says, "Oh shit, my judge is Judge Roach," and he says, "Listen," he briefs me the whole time before I go there. He's like, "Listen, Judge Roach, he's notorious. He is notorious around here. Listen, don't talk, don't look anywhere else but him. He's going to curse you out. He's going to talk to you like you're a baby." And as soon as I got in the courtroom, Judge Roach is cursing people out left and right. And my lawyer just say, "Yes, Judge. Judge Roach is going to piss you off. I hate that judge. All the lawyers hate the judge. Just don't do anything because he will put you in jail." Soon as I go before a judge because like I said, I was facing jail time. So I end up just pleading for probation, even though, like I said, I bought it at the store, had a receipt and everything. Judge Roach is cussing me out. He's threatening to put me in jail left and right. Prison. He's like, "You want to go to prison, son? You want to go to prison, boy?" He's doing the whole work. And I'm just like, "No, Judge. No, Judge. Yes, Judge. Yes, Judge." And I finally get up out of there. And a month later, I moved the hell up out of Texas. So when I found out Judge Roach was the judge for Karmelo Anthony, I knew it was a wrap. Before the jury was selected, I knew. As soon as I heard Judge Roach, shiver went down my spine. I was like, he's cooked. That's Judge Roach.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what they elected. He's the kind of guy they want out there. Please understand that. He's the kind of judge that they want out there because I suspect he's a race warrior, and that's what they're looking for. Remember, I was out there 30 years ago. So I watched all those areas expand into what they are now. I was out there when Plano was just a sleepy suburb. Wasn't nothing built out, no freeways, no anything. You go up 635 to get out there, but that was it. Allen was the sticks. Allen was not developed right above Plano. Allen was the sticks. Allen was a straight rural area, like Mansfield, Texas. Not Mansfield, Louisiana, like Mansfield, Texas. So what I'm saying is that Frisco, McKinney, all those areas have really been built out in the last 25 years. That's not 40 years old. Irving, you've really watched Irving and Grapevine be developed really in the last 25 years. So what I'm saying is, along with all of that has come some folks who are like, okay, now what do we do? Because we don't want this to become, just another part of like Dallas. We don't want to do that. So you need cats like that they know, okay, the white folk go to court and sweep them on out. You show up, everybody knows what to do when you come through here. Everybody knows what to do then. So just please understand, he was voted in there. They know what they're getting. They know what they have. He's not there accidentally. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight, brother. We appreciate that. Let me see if we can get Ray up here on Zoom for me here right quick. Yeah, we don't have any black legal representation, y'all. Just stop the nonsense. I don't give a damn who's on YouTube.
And deal with it, nigga.
I said that. I don't give a damn about none of them on YouTube or whatever. You never heard of any significant cases that they worked on. You've never heard of anybody significant that they represented. Hell, you ain't heard of nobody they represented. So they just sitting on YouTube. They ain't moving no weight. Nobody in the legal community knows them. No one regards them highly. Nobody says, oh, hey, you get in trouble. That's the guy you want right there. None of them. Not for criminal, not for civil, not for divorce, not for a damn thing. We don't have one. So if we're going to do this, we really need to start at the college level and the law school level, because as far as these niggas out here with their little law papers and whatnot already, they are worthless to a man. Like the civil rights generation, they are worthless. Hi, Ray. Go ahead and unmute yourself. What's on your mind? Lower left-hand corner microphone. Unmute yourself, sir.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. You're on. What's on your mind?
I just woke up to this news, from my nap, and I had to go for a power walk, brother. I was like beyond pissed because my situation of what I've told you, what happened with me with the police, with them unlawfully arrested me after I called the police on my brother for pulling a firearm on me, my beta male son brother. Yeah. After I called him out on this bullshit. So yeah, and me hearing these cases, and then the Cyrus case, we cannot take no more, man. No more. I came to this conclusion. Okay, I deduced this. Is wartime. No more, you shall have your war. No more, you shall have your damn war. Any more injustice you white bastards commit upon me, that in any way, shape, or form, thou shall perish in the name of the Most High God. And this is FBA talking to you, damn it. This is FBA B1, hot damn it, talking to you motherfuckers. One who is proud, one who is not a bootlick, you piece of shit, wet dog smelling ass motherfuckers, and you damn raccoon motherfuckers, damn, who want to worship these wet dog smelling, onion smelling ass motherfuckers. You motherfuckers need a rotten hell too, body and soul. You hear me? Damn it, for a lot of us blacks, we have not done no evil to you motherfuckers. You hear me? You some bitches created this damn infrastructure. You hear me? So therefore, a lot of the mentalities you see about them are a cause of you motherfuckers. Them, as we can trace the roots all the way back, you pieces of shit. All right. And so damn it, and what we were supposed to continue, brother Jason, let these motherfuckers to continue to do whatever to us. And damn it, and then when we rise up, we in the wrong. Y'all got me fucked up. No more. I told you, damn it, Trump, I need my damn settlement, motherfucker. I need my shit. Or if not, the next damn officer that commits an injustice to me, sir, they will to the damn shadow realm. I know where these pieces of shit live. Hot damn it, I even know when these motherfuckers.
Okay, well, watch out, brother. You are not on a secret channel, so I understand you are you speak for a lot of folk who are upset. I understand that.
On that note, brother, I just want to say one more thing, and I'll let you go. There's some things, you know what I mean, that we are going to disagree on. We are not going to be 100% on everything. Okay, I get it. I don't care what the differences is. Like, you know, man, we just need to fucking come together. Like, I don't care if it's cats from the manosphere space that some people hate, you know what I mean, whatever. We just need to come together, man. But we need to get these raccoons and shit out of the way. And I just want to say, man, like, if there ain't really, because I was hearing the last caller you was talking to when it comes to about the lawyers, and I gotta confirm that, man. Yeah, because there's hardly any black lawyers that will be willing to help us. Any black civil lawyers, and I'm having a hard time.
We don't have any. We don't have any. We don't have any. I've had folk who have asked me now for 7-10 years. I used to tell them that I would try to help them with that. Now I just tell them, hey, we don't have any. We don't have any.
What?
There's nothing there at all. Period.
Brother Jason, why somebody told me to get a Jewish lawyer? What do you think about that?
Brother, if you can get one, period. If you can get one, period, do what you got to do. Because all I'm telling you is that you don't have any black representation. So wherever you can find it, if you can find it, find it. But I am not going to sit up here and lie to you and tell you got black representation. You don't have any. You don't have any. Because, brother, we are the most egregiously aggrieved people that there are. And there's literally billions of dollars that all of us should be getting for how much harm has been done to us. Forget reparations. Just like in your case, from the police, from the education system, from jobs and whatever, our rights have been violated left, right, and center. There's not a single person listening to me right now that isn't due at least a couple of $1 million for what's happened to them. That you can name employers, you can name schools, you can name incidents. But the issue is Jewish folk got together, the Asians got together, the Anglos run the damn system. Over here, you get a black lawyer. They're either looking for if they got any ability at all, they're looking for a white firm to go kiss ass on. They don't want to be excellent. They're just looking for a place so they can go sit themselves down up under daddy's umbrella. They don't want to make any waves. They don't want to make no trouble. Because you see, we are a multi-trillion-dollar settlement that's been overdue. But they want to get, when they get mobbed up, them folk let them know. It's like, okay, this is how far you can go, but not any further now. Don't make any big trouble there. You know, you don't want to sit up here and have nowhere you can go. So that's what we wind up dealing with.
Have you heard these white folks and what they've been saying in regards to this case?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, look, that is the rule, not the exception. The whole thing I want to solidify to everybody is that this is not the exception. This is the rule. It's just being said so loudly and so blatantly that you can't ignore it. You can't rewrite it into something that it isn't. They just saying it straight out. All right, look here, gag order, no cameras, all niggas off the jury. It's like, okay, we coming straight up the middle with it. So at a moment like this, no one can deny what they're seeing. The only thing you can do now is just say whether or not you're for it or against it. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight, brother. We appreciate that. The brother's indignation is absolutely understandable. I can't speak the way I want to in certain cases here. I am you all's humble, gracious host. I will continue to be so. But the brother speaks for the indignation of everybody involved. He speaks for the indignation of everybody involved because, you see, if our rights were upheld, if the system were upholding our rights, we wouldn't have to do that ourselves. We should be able to focus on other things. I ain't talking about focusing on bull jiving, but we should be able to focus on other things. You're unable to do that because the system isn't not only is the system not upholding your rights, the system is openly targeting you. And your sin is your unforgivable blackness. The crime you have committed is being black. That's the crime. Everything else is a pretense. The crime is being black. Now, we're going to do about it, I'm going to get to that there in just a few moments. I really need to do this Saturday, so I'm really going to just touch on this lightly. But I do think that it is called for to have a bit of discussion about that. I think it is called for to have a bit of a discussion about that. So we're going to have to touch on a little bit of that here today. Okay, we got iPhone here on Zoom. Go ahead and unmute yourself, iPhone. Lower left-hand corner. What's your name?
Brother Jason, this is Linwood again. After we talked the other night. I know black folks are upset, but don't be. Because if you don't understand white supremacy, racism, what it is and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you. The reason why black people are angry because they don't understand white supremacy, racism. We don't understand how this thing works.
I disagree with that. I'm pretty angry and I understand it.
If you understand racism, white supremacy, this should have not come as a surprise. This did not come as a surprise with me. When I saw a white jury, I said convicted. Off the rip, he's convicted. The thing that I say to Mr. Anthony is you did what you're supposed to do. You did what you're supposed to do. So you do that 35 years while we try to get an appeal. In the meantime here, it's about time we either do two things here. We either vote Abbott ass out and get somebody in there to overturn his conviction, or take it to the federal appeals court.
Well, those are reasonable suggestions, although I have some others. We'll come to that here in just a moment. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Calvin, Rock, Dan, Ike, everybody else here is on Zoom. We'll get to you all here in just a few moments. Let me go ahead and see if we can get Calvin up here on Zoom for me. All right, Calvin, unmute yourself.
How you doing, big bro?
All right, brother, what's on your mind?
I'm good. So I'm just leaving the gym, MMA gym. You know, we getting at work. I just had a question. At this point, do you feel like it's time that we like deputize the street dudes? You know, I mean, we can't get our regular justice. You know, at the very least, especially with street dudes still plaguing the black community and really only targeting other black people. They don't target any other groups of people when they're doing a crime. Shouldn't we at least at this point deputize them? Especially if they're going to
you have to have authority before you can deputize somebody. So
I mean,
there has to be a central authority that deputizes them. So who would that be?
I mean, I would figure like you really just need a few people in each major city. Let's say, for example, just get together, pull it together. You know what I'm saying? Some resources, and really just, you know what I'm saying? Pay your hitters. Let's put it that way. I mean, that's what street dudes do. If they got to get somebody out the way, they're going.
Well, here's the issue. Most of your so-called street dudes today actually work for the white supremacists. So it's not like they're free agents. They're actually agents of the system. So in that regard, they're not really your operatives. Back in the day, you had dudes who came from the street. So, you know, your Black Panthers and your Nicky Barneses and whatnot. And they were directly affected by racism. That's what drove them to that. Today, you got something different in that regard. So, no, that would not be viable. You do want to organize, but that, in my opinion, that's not the direction you want to start in.
That brings me to my second point on that same matter. If they can't be used on our side, weaponized against our enemies to get street justice, then at the end of the day, I feel as though black men in America need to just have a civil war within each other. It need to be Captain America Civil War, where we really, the street dudes versus straight dudes, you know, square guys, and really clean that up. I mean, who gonna take the future of these young black boys? Who gonna say these black boys? You say the black boys, you say the black race.
Well, I've said that now for decades. I've talked about the necessity of what you're talking about now for decades, actually. I was the first person to mention it, that, you know, there needs to be, now we dealt with the civil rights generation to a large degree, but yes, there needs to be a delineation and an overthrow in that regard, and a purging there absolutely does need to be. So I'm going to speak on that here in just a few moments. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Now I'm going to speak on that in just a few moments. Let me see if I can get Rock up here on Zoom for me here. Let me see if we can get Rock up here on Zoom. Okay, Rock, you're kind of upside down. All right, Rock, let me see you there. Where you at? There you go. He's upside down as always. All right, what's on your mind, Rock?
Yeah, Jason. Hey, peace to you, Jason. Can you give me a second? I'm out here in Chicago.
Okay, in the south side or west side?
No. I'm on the north side. I'm on the north side.
He's behind enemy lines. All right, what's on your mind?
Okay, listen, Jason, real quick. I'm not gonna make it long, but the other day, you expressed optimism with the attorney before the defense got you.
Okay, sir. No, that's a misconception, sir.
Okay.
That's a misconception. I was expressing neutrality, but I was also expressing that, by the way, the trial was not over yet. So I'm not free to speak freely. Y'all talk about these folk. I talk to them. So
okay. Let me clarify what I was saying. It was specifically about when a caller had called up and said, "Hey,
when they're talking about, hey, what about the all-white jury?" And I said, "Well, the attorney did say something about that." So I want to make sure that I pointed out what the facts are. Well, yeah, the judge did do that, and yes, the attorney did respond about that. He certainly did. That does not mean that I approve necessarily of how that was done still. I was just making the point that, well, yeah, he did say something. It's not like he just sat there and didn't say anything. No, he did say something. So factually speaking, that's correct to say. Okay. That doesn't mean that I'm necessarily satisfied.
No, exactly. Okay, so we're on the same page. Is that you were giving them some time or whatever. Here's something that I heard, Jason, and I wanted to get your opinion about. And I'm not necessarily putting on the blue hat, so to speak, for the defense, but I did hear a defense attorney. I can't remember what the source was. It was Court TV or something like that, where a defense attorney was expressing the fact that that the defense, once they weren't able to successfully, get that strike reversed or get the black jurors back on the jury, that this was a defense attorney. It's a white dude. And he was saying that if I was the attorney, then I know that I have a sort of an open door to an appeal. And from that point, I'm not going to represent him as best as I can, because in the appeals process, if I give Karmelo the really good representation after I know that I've already been sort of pigeonholed into this situation where I'm looking at it's already a wrap, that from that point, I'm not going to put my best foot forward, because the appeals process is going to be based on, number one, there was an all-white jury, no jury of your peers. Number two, did he have adequate counsel? So do you follow what I'm saying, Jason?
Yeah, and I mean, that's one way of looking at it. In my opinion, you really could have shut it down right then, though. I don't really, in my opinion, I really do think it should have stopped right then, right there. It's like, okay, this is an illegitimate trial at this point right here, and that we're not going any further with it. So that's my perspective on it.
Right. But like the previous caller was saying about the Judge Roach or whatever, that and it's been rumored that I mean when you're a lawyer and you're a judge and you're a prosecutor, they all hang out. It's not like they're colluding with each other necessarily. But if you know a judge's reputation and then you see the move where he didn't honor your jurors, what this particular analyst was saying is that once I see that my client has no chance, I'm immediately looking for the appeals process. And in that process, if I give him adequate representation, now the jury may convict on manslaughter, when I think that I can get a complete overturn of the case in an appeals. So that's just what I wanted to bring, and then I'll drop down and let you expound on that.
Well, like I say, I mean, I'm hesitant to try to second guess certain things. I try to speak on the things I know for a fact. And I do know for a fact that once that judge did that right there, that was really all you needed to see. Even the media caught that. So it's just like, okay, why are we not stopping this thing in its tracks right here, right now? That would need to be explained to me. Now, what you're giving is one possible explanation, although to be totally honest, that kind of goes in the realm of 4D chess, because what you're saying is, well, we'll take care of this after they convict you. Now, imagine, because that's what you're saying. Well, I mean, hey, well, once the judge does that, well, I mean, right now you're only on trial, but we'll wait until after you're convicted of a felony, and we'll take care of it. We'll see about fighting back after we can convict you. And I'm like, okay. At that point right there, I'm like, okay, it doesn't sound like we got a plan.
Okay, now, but if I may, Jason, see, that's so based on this analyst that I was speaking about. I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was. I was watching a whole bunch of stuff, but why it made sense to me after the fact, because if you're a competent defense attorney, there's no way you're not putting Karmelo Anthony on the stand. You're not calling characteristics. I mean, you could have represented Karmelo better than this 25-year attorney. And so it just sort of started to maybe make sense. Like, okay, if we try to go and give you,
brother, if you end up there, it'll be accidental. Just to wrap everything up, what you're saying, if that strategy worked, it would be accidental. That's not really something you planned from the beginning, because now you are assuming, first of all, you don't want to walk into appeals court. That's not where you want to fight something. Appeals take hella time. Their appeals are slow by design. In this case, Karmelo is sitting at home under house arrest. At least he was. Now he'll be sitting in a prison cell. So anybody trying to sell you on, well, instead of you sitting at home on house arrest, let's go ahead and hurry up and get you convicted of a felony so we can see if our odds are better in the appeals court. And now we're kind of steering off into 4D chess territory. Okay, 4D chess after you've got a conviction and a felony and you're in the appeal system and you're in prison. Brother, like I say, no. I mean, that only sounds good in theory. In practice, it only sounds plausible in theory. In practice, that's a terrible way of doing it. That's not bad. That is literally the worst thing. Let's get you found guilty and convicted first, and then we'll go fight it in appeals court. No, that's a terrible idea. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. No, that's not a bad idea. That's an awful one. Well, don't worry. Oh, the judge, he tripping. Well, let's just go ahead and let him have this here, and then we'll fight it in appeals court. While I'm in prison? We'll fight it there? Yeah, let's not. Let's go ahead and see if we can get Mari up here on Zoom. Mari, make sure you have your camera and microphone turned on. I'll give you 3 seconds to go ahead and do that for me. Then we're going to have to go ahead and move on. Mari, make sure you have your camera and your microphone turned on. I can give you 2 more seconds, and then we're going to have to move on. Mari, make sure you have your camera and your microphone turned on. We can give you 1 more second, then we're going to have to move on. All right, Mari, what's on your mind?
Yes. Jetson Justicia. Justicia para Karmelo Anthony.
Okay, Mari, where are you calling us from?
Anthony Justicia.
Okay, I'm not quite making that out. Can you try that one more time?
Yes.
She looks like Soleil and sounds like I forget who it was, but where are you calling me from, Mari?
Yes.
Okay. Mari is stunned. They're doing hella light skin stuff over here, but I will just take it that they are, equally stunned about this. So thank you for calling us, Mari. We're moving along here. All right. She looks like Soleil, I will say that, but it's just, looks like Soleil, thinks like Stacey Dash. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can get my man Dan up here on Zoom for me here right quick. All right, Dan, where you at?
I'm right here.
I was doing more than one thing at one time. Here we go.
My brother, what's on your mind?
I think it's I'm going to speak on the Karmelo case and the Rick Child case. I'm going to deal with the Karmelo case. Oh man. I have never seen somebody get convicted, and sentenced within an hour. Oh man, the way I see it, they send a very strong message. You know, that's the way I.
Yeah, but that's outrageously unusual. That's not a little unusual. This is incredibly unusual.
That's sending a very strong message. Usually, like y'all ain't wait for the state to try to. Wait for his lawyer to try to appeal it, or what they call a pretrial motion. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all ain't. It did. On top of that, though, they let the jury decide the sentencing. That's also unheard of. That the sentence is supposed to come from a judge, not from no damn jury. But I knew a guilty verdict was going to come because when I first saw they had an all white jury, and I saw like whoever his lawyer is ain't do a good job to represent him, because this case is literally a clear self-defense case. I already knew right there and there they was on some bullshit. So that's a clear self-defense case. It ain't Texas a stand your ground state too, by the way. If I'm not mistaken.
Like I say, stand your ground. There isn't a law that says stand your ground. Stand your ground should be understood more as a statute or an understanding. Karmelo Anthony was not arguing any stand your ground statute or stand your ground argument. He was arguing self-defense. I know this stand your ground came to prominence under George Zimmerman. George Zimmerman was not claiming stand your ground either. He was claiming just self-defense. So in this case, that's really what you were looking at there, was that. The issue, though, is that you're in Frisco, Texas. And Frisco, Texas wanted to communicate to the world what Frisco, Texas is. And that's what they're showing you. When you go to Frisco, Texas, this is where you at. The law is whatever they say it is. You have no rights. Constitution, me ass. This was the message they wanted to send.
Yeah, it's a very strong message, because it seems like, because it's like you as a black person, especially a foundational, you don't have the right to defend yourself against one of them, or even if it's on each other, but especially on one of them. That's and it looks like they want to target children, by the way.
No, it doesn't look like. That's the whole point. The whole point is to show you that they are the dirty Klansmen they've always been. This is about reasserting themselves. So targeting your children. That's why I say, it's like, brother, you familiar with the Mexican and Colombian cartels? They don't give a damn. Shoot the house up, shoot the kids up. We want to show that anything that you think you can do, we are way more ruthless and way lower. We're way lower. So this is about specifically targeting your children. And that's the message they want to send to you, is to send a chill down the spine to your children that if you don't allow yourselves to be victims, if you get it in your head that you won't allow, when we come around, you're supposed to get victimized. And if you don't allow yourself to be victims, we'll say it's illegal for you not to let yourself be victimized.
And one more last thing before I go. I know you got a bunch of calls, so I'm going to give everybody a chance to call up. I hope that appeal process is much faster than that conviction, because I strongly believe. I believe for a fact that he should be appealed to be out, should be able to appeal it. And I hope it don't take no 10 years, no 15 years, because they love those appeal process case. They would love to take a very long time to try to appeal it. So I hope this appeal process with him is much faster too. So,
well, here's my thing, brother. Like I say, and you've been in the system, so you know how it works. And this is a case that got all their attention. So this wasn't a local case. Everybody in the whole state was in on it. Everybody already got together. I'm just letting you know that's the way it works. The Innocence Project was basically made because of Texas. So Texas has a very well-known reputation for that kind of thing. The Texas appeal courts have a very well-known reputation for that. So in this case right here, I can appreciate folks talking about the appeal court, but in case nobody noticed, there's not a whole lot of daylight between them and the regular courts. This isn't California or New York or, even Missouri or something. This is Texas. And you take a look what they just did with the congressional maps. It should be no surprise that all this is happening at the same time. They're trying to send a message that they are sending a message for white supremacy is the thing. So I don't have a lot of faith in the appeal courts. I don't. I had no faith in the trial courts and very little in the appeals courts based on what I've seen and based on what I know, because they're a part of it. Once again, when you see judges get really blatant and stuff like that, that's not because they're afraid of the appeals courts. When they're afraid of the appeals courts, like in the Amber Geiger case, what the previous caller was trying to talk about, that's why you saw that in the Amber Geiger case. The judge really let basically everything go for the most part in the Amber Geiger case, because that's how you avoid people filing appeals. When folks say, oh, they take issue with something and then the judge, lets it be heard. Oh, they want to ask a question. The judge lets them ask that. That way they can't go on appeal and say, oh, we didn't get to ask this. We didn't get to say that. A whole bunch of folks were talking about Amber Geiger on appeal. I said, appeal's not going to work for her. Everybody was talking about the judge. Why they let them say that? She let them say that because now Amber can't go on appeal and say, I wasn't able to mount this kind of defense, or I wasn't able to argue this in my defense. No, you argued everything in your defense while you were on trial. So everything you said on trial, it's already been heard. Because remember, appeals courts are not to retry your case. Appeals courts are to take up things that were not taken up in the trial. But an appeals court, for everybody who doesn't know, that's not to give you a retrial. That's not what an appeals court is for. So in her case, every argument she wanted to make, she was allowed to make it. In this case, I don't know if that happened. I don't know if that occurred. What I will say is I'm only slightly more optimistic about the appeals court, which is not to say I'm optimistic at all. But I'm only slightly more optimistic about that. Of course, that's something you want to avail yourself to, but I'm not telling people this is the fallback position to go to here. In Texas, this is not what I would desire to have the fallback position.
Yeah, that's understandable. Now you just broke that down, given the history of Texas, because I have to remember that different states is different laws and and how they court system work and saying stuff like that. So
Illinois is light years different from Texas. Texas prides itself on being its own place. You have a number of states that pride themselves on disregarding your constitutional rights. And Texas is one of those places that does that. And has only been working harder to do so. They're going out of their way to show that. So, look, I told everybody what the deal is. This is about solidifying white supremacy for the next 500 years. They spent the last 500 years conquering everything and controlling everything. And now what they're doing is solidifying it for the next 500 years. And that's what you're seeing now, which is why you're getting a repeat of To Kill a Mockingbird. That's what it is. This is for that reason. So now you're marking your cultural geographic territory. This is a place where we make up our own rules. Ain't no constitution here. Nobody to protect you. That's the point they're trying to make. We're the law here. We're the rules here. Ain't no constitution. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. I didn't say I had great news for you here. I'm just letting you know this is what they're on. This is what they're about. This is what they're trying to say. This is what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it clear to you, hey, we make the rules. And first rule is we're white and we say so. Second rule is ain't no damn rules. It's whatever we say it is. It's whatever we say it is. And as black folk, what ends up happening is we end up going up against the system. You have a whole system targeting you, and then you're walking out there as individuals. That's the problem. Let's go ahead and jump back over here on Zoom again. Let's see if we can get Ike up here on Zoom right quick. Let me see if we can get Ike up here on Zoom right quick. Okay, let me see Ike. All right, Ike, what's on your mind?
Hey, let me pause my TV real quick. I'm back over.
All right, Ike.
Gotcha. Hold on. First, I want to congratulate you for redirecting the other caller. The way he was talking, he was trying to get a RICO or something put on. I don't know. But yeah, that's masterful way you redirected that. Secondly, at this point, we are in a state of emergency. We have zero black legal representation. The Congressional Coon Caucus didn't show up. Hakeem Jeffries didn't show up. Clyburn, who knows where he's at. The NAACP, forget about him. What's the one Al Sharpton got? National Action Network, National in Action Network. What's the other one?
Urban League and the other. Doesn't matter who you name. Everybody was AWOL.
We are in a state of emergency. If something happens to you, you know the fix is in. There's nothing you can do about it. The Karmelo case, Anthony proved it. Not one person stepped up to get this young man proper legal representation. Not even the people that say they're allies. Not a Jewish person didn't step up. They saw it. They didn't do nothing. No Latino the Human Rights Project. Nobody from the international community. This story was worldwide. Nobody came to the rescue.
That was the point.
What do we do?
I mean, that was the point. I want everybody to be clear about this. I keep saying it. That was the point. To say it to you loud and clear, to post it up in boxcar letters, to say it in no uncertain terms, in undeniable, egregious manner. That is the point. This is something that was so clear. It doesn't have to be explained to anybody. You see exactly what it is. You can't argue away all these things. You can't argue away all of it. You might be able to argue away one. You can't argue away 5 different things stacked on top of each other. There is no arguing that away. That, oh, this is because you can't show a single other place this has ever happened.
I mean, the moment we knew they was going to try something funny with this case. We were just sitting back and we were wondering, okay, what hand are they going to play? The moment they played the all-white jury, this case should have came to a full stop. There should have been a state investigation, federal investigation. This trial shouldn't even been allowed to continue.
In my opinion, it should have stopped right then, right there.
I mean, the whole world saw that play happen, and then nobody step up and do that.
Well, I mean, the whole world heard about it. The judge made sure you didn't actually see it, but the whole world heard about it. And that was why I was like, okay, as soon as I saw that from the beginning, as soon as I saw the cameras are going to be off, I'm like, okay, there's only one reason he wants cameras off. There's only one reason he doesn't want it televised. And I'm like, what he's doing, he doesn't want there to be documentation showing him doing it. Or at least he doesn't want it to be shown to the world what he's doing while he's doing it. So gag order, I'm like, okay, here we go. No cameras. I'm like, okay, the only reason you want no cameras is because there's something you're going to do that you know you don't want everybody to see. That's the only reason you do that. The only reason. And that's exactly what occurred. The very next thing he did after getting rid of the cameras, the very next thing, all these niggas off the jury. I mean, that was basically day 1. I mean, day 2, actually. Day 1, no cameras. Day 2, no blacks on the jury. So he went straight to it. Straight to it. And I want everybody to know this is where you are. It's not a game. When I started doing this 2 decades ago, brother, we were, you pro-blacks and all you militant folk. Okay, it's like, all right, now what? Now what? You're not going to hear a whole bunch of that, and there's not going to be a whole bunch of that. It's like, yeah, all of a sudden, everybody's going to be on the same thing now. Or at least they'll be scrambling for it, but at least there won't be the arguments like it. Not right now. But yeah, This is how serious the situation really is. And this is just one place among many. So that's why it's from South Carolina to Frisco, Texas. It's showing you, hell yeah, this is literally what it is. You can't say it's just one place. It isn't just one place. Trayvon Martin in Florida, South Carolina, Texas, New York, Eric Garner, Philando Castile, Minnesota. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Anywhere and everywhere. So just in case you got lulled to sleep in a false sense of security, they're back to wake you up and say anytime, anywhere you can get it.
So, I mean, at this point, we got to pull up to DC. I mean, in the masses.
I certainly think that could be an option, though not maybe quite the way you mean. I think I have a slightly different perspective on it.
We need to call it the rally for reparations and justice or something. And we need to pull up to DC and let them know we know what they're doing. We see the play they're making, and we just not going to sit back and let y'all do this. Like, we can't let that slide. Like, there needs to, I don't know who got to organize it, who got a microphone to blast it, but at some point I'm going to be honest, I'm not full FBA, but I rock with the FBA. So, but I want to pull up, and I want it to be known, like, it needs to be televised. Hey, we're not going to sit back and just let y'all kill the people we love, man. We ain't rocking like that. We have to let it be known, and we have to let it know we coming for reparations and coming for justice. Point blank. And we got to pull up to the masses in DC and let it be known. So whoever got to organize it, rally behind it, create social media, do something. I think that's what we need to do. Just sometime, do something. But what do you think?
Certainly, politically speaking to the politicians, that's one option. The thing is, politicians hide out until their political years because you really can't speak on it until election day. However, I do have some thoughts about that I think will dovetail off of that. So just sit back and listen, and I can go ahead and get to that. Let me go ahead and let's go ahead and have a talk about a few things here. All right, folks, things have gone down the way they've gone down. It's happened the way that it's happened here. I gave you all a bit of a forecast of exactly which direction I was thinking it was going to be going in, and basically it's played out like that. I've been quiet, I think, long enough that I can say most, though I still cannot say everything. I can say something, I still cannot say everything. But let me go ahead and speak on a couple of things here first. Let's talk about from the ground level first of all. And this is going to be a real conversation we got to have here right now. The first thing that you do is when you are in survival mode, when you are trapped in a survival situation and it's you and just you, the first thing that you have to do is consolidate on the things that you do control. If you were trapped in the woods behind enemy lines, you might not be able to control your ability to communicate back to home base. You might not be able to control your ability to extract yourself physically from the situation that you're in. But there is one thing you do control. You do control the ability to sit there, sit still, don't breathe, don't make a noise. You control the ability to do that. You control the ability to do that. In the chat room, Big Mo needs to give me a call up on Zoom. So let me go ahead, Big Mo. I'm very glad you said that there. Let me go ahead and get you a call up here on Zoom. Big Mo has 2 minutes to be on Zoom, so don't say anything else in the chat room. Big Mo got 2 minutes to be on Zoom for me here. So let me go ahead and open that back up one more again. I don't want anybody else calling in except Big Mo. So Big Mo got 2 minutes to be on Zoom for us here. I want you to understand something here. First of all, you control where you are. You control yourself. So let's talk about the things you do control. To my brothers and my sisters from around the world, when we talk about being on code, the first part about being on code here is the bull jiving, the nonsense and the playing around, the overgrown childism, that garbage that the civil rights generation ingrained and unfortunately Gen X was a victim of and kind of perpetuated, continuing there. That got to go. The shucking and jiving, the oohing and eyeing, the being loud and trying to attract attention to yourself, the ego starvation got to go out the damn window. What I did not like about this getting up and dancing and whatnot is that I would have felt a hell of a whole lot better about their little get together if I had seen them standing in file like the Nation of Islam, like the Fruit of Islam. That's what the damn fraternities need to be doing. I will take you seriously when I see you behaving like that. We ain't in a situation to have damn me dance-offs. This ain't time for damn me twerking and dance hour. I recognize you as the enemy when I see you trying to dance a jig on a battlefield.
And deal with it, nigga.
You are the enemy when we are in the middle of a battlefield and you're trying to work on your damn dance moves. You are not just annoying, you are the adversary. You're in the middle of a war zone and you're making it your point to show everybody that you've completely checked out of reality. There's no place for you here nor among us, and we got to go to the next part about among us, where the us is. To my brothers and my sisters here tonight, it is of the utmost importance. Competence. Competence. Single motherhood. Oh, I said it. Let me go there right quick. Even though Karmelo was not raised by a single mother, what I'm saying is that he's not. You got too many folks out here who trying to be renegades by their damn selves. You do not build a viable community to go to war against a white supremacist establishment led by a bunch of single moms. I said that. You sitting up here by yourself thinking that if you jerk your neck around or if you find, at the very least, you can sit up here and whore yourself. And what you're finding out is that, by the way, that may work. That works for you marginally. It works for your children, not at all. You need to have a large number, a large uniform number of black people who are moving in the same direction with the same understanding. And that begins with a man and a woman, not a woman and a bunch of kids. And right now, the women out here breeding uselessly do something stupid first and then do something intelligent and way down the damn line. And meanwhile, the white supremacists got the damn head start on us. You don't build a neighborhood with a raggedy broad and a bunch of kids. And it's not like you're raising the best and brightest anyway. We got a bunch of boys out here raised by a bunch of hood rat hoes. He doesn't know how to turn a socket wrench. He knows a video game controller and some tennis shoes. He doesn't know how to turn a socket wrench. He's scared to work on a car. He doesn't even realize what it is. You see the hood of a car up in the parking lot today, the young fellas are standing around just like the girls are. That's the quality of single motherhood that you have. The white supremacists are teaching their children guns. They're teaching their children mechanics. They're teaching their children skilled trades. And that's what emboldens them. Useless breeding may give you numbers, but it gives you useless numbers. You're up against a system of individuals that may be barbarians and may be subhuman, but they've got a plan. And what you need are homes that are raising children between a mother and a father who understand what the plan is. The next order of business is being on code, on code, on code. A man and a woman who are on code. Being on code starts with both your masculine and your feminine obligations. I didn't say responsibilities. I said obligations. Being on code starts with those. As a man, we talk about protection and provision. You are in a society where you are at a socioeconomic disadvantage. You are supposed to be focused like a laser beam on correcting that. For the females, the exact same damn thing. You don't take after your Hollywood harlots because they ain't starlets. And this idea that we're going to ass around, I've never seen so many females smoking weed before. And meanwhile, then you wonder how it is that you don't have a legal class to rely on. You've got jackasses and idiots out there going to law school, but they're otherwise worthless. For the few that you do have, because they're off code. A female's first responsibility is to be the first teacher, not to be the first twerker. And everybody wants to sit up here and play games until they get their ass slammed in the back of a damn police car, and then they're hoping that the pro-blacks will bail them out. Meanwhile, we go back and check the files to see what you were doing before we showed up, and I'll be damned, it's bull jiving. All this neck jerking and ski-weeing doesn't mean a damn thing when you are not balanced and focused. Competence is what is missing. When you have sons that don't look like they are miniature soldiers getting ready to march on this, I'm supposed to be able to look your son in the eyes and see something serious. I'm supposed to look your daughters in the eyes and see something mature. I'm supposed to look your sons in the eyes and see something serious. We got too many folks that are on social media and you don't want the world to see what the hell your kids are really like. We hand your son a socket wrench and then you're talking about white supremacy, but if I hand your son a socket wrench, I'm like, what the hell is, he's useless. Up against other people who make it a point to do otherwise. And I'm not just talking about white, I'm talking about Asian, I'm talking about Arab, I'm talking Indian. This is what they're doing. They're not playing about this, so I'm talking about starting at the ground level with what you control. We don't have a battalion of a black legal class because you can't make a competent black legal class with a bunch of oops babies. Because your priority is anything other than maturing and being useful. Everything's about diversions and escapism. Getting down and hunkering down to the real hard work and nitty gritty of being competent individuals who can join together with other competent individuals. Now you are a competent couple who raises a competent family in a competent neighborhood. All of a sudden, white supremacy crumbles. All of a sudden, white supremacy crumbles. You see, you can talk about Michael Joseph Jackson all you want to. Michael Jackson was a competent man raised by a competent mother and a competent father. And when white supremacy came for him, he was ready. That's the message that isn't going on. Don't come to me talking about no damn Hotlanta. You're talking about these things and bragging about things where you don't control anything of any consequence or any value. And you can be railroaded at any time by Fanny the Mammy. Next, let's talk about your quality of education. The children are not going to be very much smarter than the mother and the father. A mama who's a dunce, sitting with a daddy who's a dummy. That goes back to the useless breeding. You think you're going to have a Johnny Cochran out of that? We got too many folk up here seeking sexual access, interracial or otherwise, and they are not seeking intellectual access. Damn! And instead, they want their best and brightest to be going anywhere and everywhere somewhere else. That's what it needs to be. When you see court cases like this happen over and over again, at a certain point, you shouldn't need somebody to hit you over the back of the head to wake you up to how serious it is. You need to have serious people around you. If you are not learned and educated enough, there is no damn excuse. You have the annotated history of humanity at your fingertips. Ignorance today is a choice, not a condition. You can become an expert on anything you desire to be an expert on. However, if you're a coward filled with fear, then you become an expert in intangibles and irrelevance. You become a tangible on your pseudo-religiosity, which is where the majority of our failures revert to. The biggest whores and the biggest deadbeats can sit up here and start quoting their own misinterpretations of scripture. Meanwhile, no law degrees among them. So it's like, okay, you're an expert on your own psycho-religion, and yet, well, where's a law degree from you with all that studying you've done? Where is it? Brand new dance, brand new idiocy, and yet nothing we can use. So to everyone listening here right now, you don't have control of the entire world. You have control of yourself. And unfortunately, and I have to say this brutally, frankly, those of us in Gen X at half a century old or older, in many of your cases, that's already passed. But for those of you who may be millennials or younger, this is the great lesson that you need to learn from the mistake of my generation. My generation began the process of turning the Titanic around. Your generation needs to prioritize competence. Not playing around, bull jiving, being wayward, smoking on something. You need to prioritize competence. Your dollar has been devalued to hell. Your industrial base is completely gone. And they are actively working to replace you with machines as viciously and quickly as they can. You don't have the option of twerking and shaking your butt cheeks and pretending to be in a fantasy world. You don't have the option of that. Real estate prices are completely out of touch for you. Totally inaccessible. So you don't have the option of fleeing to the guy who makes your toes curl. You have to go to the one who is competent. Mr. Make Your Toes Curl will get you killed. So the word of the day and for life for you is competence. And that brings me to the next part here, because you see the other part of this is what we focus on. You have so-called HBCUs. The HBCUs are useless. A number of them do have schools to get you started to being lawyers and whatnot, but the schools are obviously off code as hell. They are obviously not training a battalion of black legal professional activists. They are obviously not doing that. They are obviously not training them for excellence. They're obviously not doing that. We have an entire telephone book full of useless legal individuals. So you can miss me with your talk of the HBCUs because you are obviously not creating a battalion of black legal professionals. That is obviously in addition to everything else you ain't teaching. You're not giving us technical professionals, internet technology professionals, electronics professionals, medical professionals. You're not really doing any of that. You're there, but you're really useless. At the very least, you can have a school that is on code. Let me remind you all, you've had HBCUs for over a century. During the days of Booker T. Washington, they didn't have computers. They didn't have the internet. They didn't have electricity. And they had a better, higher quality. They were cranking out a better, higher quality of professional than we have today. I challenge anyone to question that. These schools today, they're focusing on teaching the males how to wear a dress and for the females to be proper feminists, but they're useless. So we need to have, if you're going to have children out here today, they don't need to be asked what they want. Dr. John Henry Clark talked about that. Let me remind you again of the words of our immortal ancestor, Dr. John Henry Clark. He reminded us during a speech about after the end of World War II. You want to talk about what happened to the Jews being devastated? How about Japan being devastated? And what did Japan learn after what? Over half a century since Captain Perry and the black ships showed up? What did they learn? They learned that they were woefully unprepared for the 20th century. Their practice of isolationism, we'll just lock the doors and don't worry about the rest of the world. They learned that that was deadly and dangerous and that they had to get caught up as quickly as possible. So what did they do? They gathered up the children, the ones they had left, and they did not ask them. I want every black parent in here in the sound of my voice to listen very carefully to this next part. While you sitting up here saying stupid things like let your children be children, you are illegitimate and unqualified to be a parent when you say that kind of garbage. I just thought I should say that to your face. They did not ask their children what they wanted to do. They told the children, we need engineers, we need scientists, we need biologists. This is what we need. And this is what you will go to school for. Some of you will go to the West and train with them. Some of you will go further west to America and train with them. You know, the folks who just bombed us to the Stone Ages. For those of you who are left, you don't get a say in what you want to do. I want to be a musician. Glad to hear that you can play music right after you're finished with engineering class. Now you can play all the damn music you want. Right after you do that. They did not ask their children what the children thought was good. They told them, this is what you'll do. And that's what they did. And the results speak for themselves. And they've prospered as a result. You all taking a look at your HBCUs and your children going there, this is not something for us to discuss or argue about. This is not something for you to ask them about. This is what we need. And it's that or nothing. This is a discussion you haven't seen folks having. I'm going to jump back over here on Zoom again. Where is Michael here on Zoom? There you go, Michael. What's on your mind?
Hey, what's up, brother? Hey, man, I think that, one thing that I wanted to say is that thank you, because, man, times like this, like emotionally, like this is like group therapy for a lot of us. And, I wanted to say the thing about the where the black lawyer class is. Hey, have you ever seen that Cory Booker clip where he's talking to AIPAC and he's telling them how specifically to poach black leaders from the black community?
And Corey's always good for that. What's on your mind, brother? Go ahead.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that's what's happening to the black legal class. They're all getting snapped up like Obama. You know what I mean? And honestly, I felt like even if Karmelo won, this would be almost like a half defeat, because Karmelo was like the Barack Obama style, perfect candidate, Rosa Parks style perfect candidate to actually beat the system of white supremacy. And I would say that, like, if he did win, we would still kind of be in a situation where, like, yeah, if you're absolutely perfect, you can still win. But you know what I mean? Most of us aren't perfect. So
I mean, look, Trayvon Martin, 2-parent upper middle class home.
Yeah.
Karmelo Anthony, 2-parent upper middle class home. It shouldn't be lost on you who they're targeting. I'll let you have the last word.
Yeah, I think that let's see. What I want more than anything is for these black leaders, so-called black, congressional black caucus, whatever. Where's the committee on every time a black woman dies in childbirth? And I just saw another statistic. You're 5 times more likely if you're a black woman with a college degree to die in childbirth than if you don't. So where is our commission on all these black women dying in childbirth? And all these should be investigated. You know what I mean? We're getting hurt legally. We're getting like this. We're getting hurt financially because they won't allow us the capital to actually be able to. Because in order to do the stuff you want to do, as you know, you need money. Nobody gives a damn about a vote. I would tell every black person, instead of voting, take $10 and donate it to an action PAC that you actually care about.
Yeah, I mean, because the Congressional Black Caucus is useless. I only talk about them to remind people how useless they are, but I don't talk about them because they're an answer. If you're bringing them up, it's like, it's just to remind folk, don't expect anything from them. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight, brother. I'll take one more here from Tish because I was waiting on Mo to call up, but since he hasn't, we'll have to do something different here. But I'll go ahead and take one from Tish here. I don't want to take a whole bunch of calls on there because I want to get to some other points, but since Mo isn't calling up, I guess we're going to go ahead and ban him. Okay, Tish, make sure you have your camera and your microphone turned on just so we don't have any trolling issues. If we don't have that, I'll have to go ahead and let you go here, sister. We can't wait all night for that, so make sure you have that taken care of. If we don't, we got to move on here. Okay, Tish is incognito. Let's go ahead and see if we can get Steven up here. I didn't want a whole bunch of folks to jump on here. I was afraid to open that up for that reason.
Awesome.
Okay, Steven, what's on your mind?
Hey, hi, Jason.
Okay, brother, you're on. Go ahead and speak.
Okay, great. I wanted to speak on about the case. I was wondering on certain things that basically came forth. I noticed it was only 4 days for them to basically come up with a conviction. If they are going to do that, I heard that there should be some other type of involvement where they can rebuttal this down the line, which I don't believe that they do have the rights for that because this is Texas and they're doing that. What do you think? Or do you have any other words on that?
Well, we covered this before earlier when we were talking about the appeals process, but that's basically where you are now. He's been convicted, so the only thing you can be looking for now is appeal, and we all know that's a very slow, laborious process where that's concerned. So even if you go file your paperwork today, take a number and get in line with everybody with the other folks been sitting there for 20 years. So that's the problem with getting past the trial stage with a conviction. This isn't television or an episode of Suits or something, where you get convicted and then 20 minutes later we got an appeal. That's literally not the way it works. It's more like 4-5 years you might start appeal. So that's the real problem with this, is this getting this far along.
Even though
no
he's
joke.
a child, I mean, I'm trying to say he's a younger person. He's not even a grown person. So can they still do for murder for a child?
Well, first of all, you're in Texas, so yeah, they do that all the time where that's concerned. So no, that's basically what they're able to do. I mean, they've been had the ability to do that. They've been had the ability to do that. So, and in this case here, they're like, because I think, is he now 17? No, I want to say no, he's 19 now. He's 19 years old now.
19 now.
So he was 17 when it happened. And now he's 19. So in the state of Texas, he was already old enough to be charged as an adult at 17.
Oh, wow.
So we've been past that.
Okay. All right. Oh, well, that's it, Jason.
Thank you for giving us a call tonight. Yeah, folks, I mean, it's not an episode of Boston Law or something. Appeals take years to even get it started. Even if you file your paperwork today, it takes years to get that started. So, no, you do not want to. Fighting for an appeal is like fighting on your back. You don't want to be in a situation where you're fighting on your back. I'm just going to let you all know exactly what needs to be done, and it is something that is within your ability or within your powers. There are those of you who have retirement funds. There are those of you who have the ability to do these things. We need to have conversations at our HBCUs. We need to go have some talks at our HBCUs for the folks who are attending these classes, for the folks who are in the law schools there. We need to be having talks with them. We need to have folks setting up a scholarship. We need folks to be funding that. We need to have real interaction at these HBCUs. That's where it really needs to be happening. We really need to be on the ground, because all the Roland Martins are going to do is try to prep them all to be Democrats and get in politics. Damn that. We need legal professionals, not somebody who's trying to load up a Democrat party. We need to have that conversation. I'm just letting y'all know, whether it's the skilled trades, medicine, we all know about medical apartheid. Are we on the ground at the college age? Where's our representation on the ground at the college age, y'all? Before they leave the schools and get screwed up. Where are we then? You got some schools that start prepping them in high school. You got some. I don't know how much influence you can have there, but at the college level, these are things that need to be happening. You want to talk about having a turn up? Okay, where all the kids who are in the law school there, who's doing that? I'm just saying, if you're going to have a turn up, do one for all the law students. So while they sitting there boogieing and twerking and whatnot, you can remind them of what they're supposed to be there for. What the real mission is. So there needs to be engagement, because you got your fraternities and you got your sororities, and they're not actually doing anything. That's the problem. You have your fraternities, you have your sororities, but they're not actually doing anything. So it's going to be up to you and me and us and we. It's going to be up to all of us who are listening here now. If you are really upset and really outraged, if you are in Texas, if you are in Florida, if you're in DC, Howard, wherever the case may be, all these places that want to brag about their credentials and don't have a damn thing to show us, they should be ashamed as hell, because they have nothing to show us. We really need to be involved in touching bases with these schools and these places at the grassroots level, because these other institutions ain't going to do it for us. These are conversations that are not being had. I know where those folks are, but if we're not talking to and engaging, forget talking to the ones after they graduated. They've already been turned. They've already been corrupted. They're already useless. The young folk who haven't made it out yet, the ones who are idealistic, the ones that you can still make an impression on, that's where the investment needs to be. I didn't say it's going to be easy. I didn't say it's going to be simple, but that's where the investment needs to be. Damn all that line dancing and all that garbage. We need to be talking to the folks who actually still have a chance of being reached and have a chance of being impressed, and you can actually do something for them. If you got $20,000 or $50,000 to put on it, you got their attention. Because that's what these other folk got. If you got 25 or 50,000 on that now you got folks' attention, because you have something to offer them. Not just a pat on the back and attaboy and hope you pay off that student loan debt when you get up out of here. Because if you leave them in that position, the only thing they can do is go look for the biggest white corporation they can go to go sell their soul to. That's what'll happen then. When we leave our young people out here to fend for themselves, don't be surprised when they go looking for wherever they can go to sell their souls to, because you came and patted them on the back, but that doesn't fix their problem. That doesn't fix the issue that they have. So it needs to be that. It needs to be that. And these are difficult conversations to have, but for those of us listening here tonight, the focus really needs to be on these HBCUs and the lawyers and the law schools from them. While everybody wants to break their arm, patting themselves on the back about it, our focus really needs to be there, because we do not have a black professional legal class. We don't have one. And this is a brutal reminder of just how dangerous it is to be in this position. This is an awful reminder. Never should have gotten this far along. But this is where we're at. So we don't do ourselves any favors hiding our heads in the sand. This is where we are, man. This is where we at. So you want my answer to you, Jason? What do we do? All the talk in the world does not matter if we are not cultivating a legal class. And those of you listening right now, if you are within the sound of my voice, you are the revolution. Many of you live in these cities where these HBCUs are. Y'all, if we don't invest in creating our own competent black legal class, if we don't invest in that, man, look here. They're just getting started. You saw what they did to Karmelo Anthony? They're just getting started. And if we don't take that seriously, well, next thing you know, you look up and it's your number, or your kids, or your grandkids. Will that make you feel better? So, Jason, what do we do about it? Notice I didn't say a thing about politics. Did you all notice I didn't say a word about politics? I didn't say a word about an election. I didn't say a word about a midterm. Did you all notice everything I just said, everything I just suggested doesn't have anything to do with politics or anything like that? Did you notice that? Everything I said to you didn't have a word to say about politics, voting, calling your politicians. These are all things that we can do ourselves. You can do it tonight. It doesn't require you to get with the political establishment. However, what it will require is some of that ability and stuff. We have to start focusing that where it matters. Because obviously you got some black judges out there. I mean, it's hit or miss. You got some black lawyers out there as a group, useless. There might be one or two decent ones out there somewhere hidden away, usually working for a white firm, but for the stuff we really need, we ain't got none. For the stuff that we really truly need, we don't have it. So if we don't invest in it, okay, well, we're the ones who lose it. Because these other folk are like, oh, we got the trick bag for you. I want to thank Karen, Prince Raw D, Nancy King, FBA Queen, and everybody else here who's contributed to support tonight's program. I know it was a special impromptu program here tonight, but I had to do this. I had to do this tonight. We're going to touch on this more this weekend. Just to give you all a heads up, this weekend, we're going to touch on this even more. Because I don't know about you, but I don't know, maybe I can't wait till this weekend. You know what? I might not be able to wait till this weekend. I might have to do this now. I might have to do this now for my folks at the HBCUs, the ones that got law programs and whatnot. It might be time for us to go ahead and start having a discussion about, okay, what do we got to do? What do we got to do to start financing our own legal class here? Since they're in school, but clearly they're being either miseducated or misled, they're off code, off agenda, and we ain't got a damn thing to show for it. From Spike Lee's school days to now, we don't have another Johnny Cochran since. What do we got to do to get that popping? So for those of you who are involved on the ground, touching bases, I might have to do a program here where we get everybody rallied. And if I do that, I'd have to do it during the day. So I may have a midday or even a morning program. I might have to do a midday or a morning program so we can just organize while folks are listening here. It's like, okay, because we did this before. We've done this a few times before. While everybody is still sore about this and it's still resonating with them, I'm thinking I may want to go ahead and do a daytime program so that we can start getting folk off their ass and be like, okay, are you at an HBCU with a law program? We need to talk. And while we're at it, hey, if you're at an HBCU with an IT program, HBCU with the medical program there, that's a big one. Everybody and their mama is complaining. We got as many complaints about the doctors as we do the lawyers. Who's representing this? What's going on? And not talking to the old niggas and the folk who just want to sit back and retire and no longer be focused or involved. To the young folk who are just getting started, okay, let them know they're not by their damn selves. Let them know they're not by their damn selves. So, like I say, I don't know, y'all. Keep your eyes and your ears open. I might need to do a daytime program about this so that at the very least sound the damn alarm. I don't even know how directed or focused I can be in that regard, but it might be time to just go ahead and just sound the alarm and say, hey, anybody everywhere, what we got to do to get that started, man? What we got to do? What we got to do? We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight on that note. Be watching. We'll see. Be watching. I want to thank all of you for tuning in a nice program. My condolences to the Anthony family in this regard. Let this be a warning to everybody. And this is going to be painful. Y'all are going to go online. You're going to see the white supremacists doing victory dances. It's going to hurt. It's going to bother you. It should. This needs to hurt. This needs to hurt. This needs to be excruciating. This needs to be. You're going to see them. You're going to see the coons dancing. It's going to be embarrassing, humiliating, and you will not be able to ignore it. And that may be the only positive of this, is that it will make it impossible to sit on your ass and ignore it because it's going to be in your face so much. This concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future, and the future is uncompromising.